Welcome to Total Meltdown, Pwn.com's official podcast. This is episode 21, and I'm your host, G Nitro, joined by my young grasshoppers, Quiglin and Church.
Well, it's better than last week.
Yeah, definitely
All
better
right.
than last week.
That's true. Hope everybody enjoyed that blooper reel of me trying to say it originally. Also this week with us is Rich from Gametopias.com and the host of the Gametopia Podcast.
It sounded like a mouthful there for you.
Yeah, like I said, I'm hopped up on Mountain Dew amp, so I'm kind of going crazy here.
Why don't you just drink the dew and skip the amp? The whole amp thing doesn't taste that good, but
I think it does, and I got this black tea flavor that I'm trying for the first time.
you know, I experimented 2 weekends in a row with different sodas. So last weekend I tried ginger ale green tea.
How's
Oh,
that?
Puked. It tasted like carbonated sushi. Like if you had sushi thrown into seltzer water, shaken, stirred, and then you drink it. Disgusting. I couldn't finish it. I had to throw it out.
Oh,
And then last night, which I thought it was going to be good, turned out not to be, was the A&W root beer float in a can.
Oh,
that
So-
doesn't sound good at all.
no.
Maybe, but I'm like, oh, it doesn't have the ice cream in it, but we'll try it. Literally, it's like root beer that's almost flat. They let the ice cream melt in it, and they put it in a bottle and said, here you go.
Oh,
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I tried that
Wow.
one time, and I was like, I took like a couple sips, and I was like, I'm done with this.
Well, I've actually tried now all the Amp Energies except for one, which is the grape soda style, because I'm not a big grape fan, but I have one. So I'm kind of putting that off because I keep like, no, I'm not in the mood for it. But I've tried the green tea, the black tea, and the mixed berry this week. Both teas were pretty good. Mixed berry was all right. So, Rich, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself so our listeners can get acquainted with who you are?
I am tall, dark, and handsome, single, like long walks on the beach, and don't have a hentai obsession like Nitro.
no one
I
does.
don't think anyone does, to be honest with you.
What? Just because I got another game in from
Ah,
this week?
man. Are you the guy that owns Custard's Revenge for the 2600?
I do not.
I was just wondering.
I own a lot of games. That is not one of them.
All right. So, yeah, about myself. Wow, this could be very boring. So I started a website called Gametopias back in August of 2008. And we kind of did like a whole redesign and relaunch in January. And so we're like trying to build a community, and we're not just a social networking site. Our focus is on community, but also we aren't the site that's going to bring you the latest in gaming news because there's too many sites out there that do it a lot better than we ever could. So we just try to review the majority of good games, give you an honest opinion, and write some really interesting editorial.
What made you want to start the site?
Well, maybe I absolutely love video games. I don't like the job I'm in right now, so tried to start like my own thing so I could do something on my own time. But I think I was getting annoyed by some of the sites out there because it was all about the quick hits, and it wasn't like I love the magazine EGM, and I would read the EGM because that was some really well written commentary in there, and I just really like reading that type of commentary, and I think that we're lacking that on the internet. And now with the demise of EGM being destroyed, there's less and less of that out there for the core gamer. And I think that's something that we should start to focus on is better, well-written editorial, not just like little blurbs of what you get across in an RSS feed.
Yeah, I agree. I know for Pwned we have that, but I also push the writers to do op-ed pieces as well as more game reviews if possible. Because I think, it's really easy just to write a paragraph or two.
Well, also, if you look at like the majority, like if you look at now, this isn't to like knock them, but because I read them all the time. But if you look at Kotaku and Joystick, it's almost the same exact stories with a little difference in summary. And you do all the other video gaming websites out there, everyone's doing news. It's the same thing over and over, and it gets very tiring. That's not even a word. Tired. It's very. it's very repetitive, and I don't see why we need so many news sites out there as it is. Like,
I guess we need different opinions on different people, even though everyone thinks the same pretty much.
it's not even opinion though, because they're just summarizing the stuff. And then you get like the Hip Hop Gamer Show, which is a site that drives me absolutely nuts, because he copy and pastes his articles verbatim from other news sources and posts them on his website. And then he has the most uneducated television web show I've ever seen, and he's always up on the top story in M4G, and I don't know. I mean, I guess you got to appeal to the lowest common denominator or something. It's very annoying.
Yeah, I agree. I've listened to a small clip, and that was enough for me to never listen to him again. It sounds like he's forcing himself to talk ghetto. It's just
Forcing
bad.
himself.
He really sounds like he's forcing it. Like, you can definitely tell he's probably just some kid from the suburbs who...
No, he's from Brooklyn.
That's a shock, because he doesn't sound like it.
Because he sounds like he's from that certain section in Brooklyn. Because we saw him at New York. I didn't see him, but other people that were with my site were there. And they saw him at New York Comic Con.
Oh,
And they said he sounded completely ghetto. So
interesting.
it's just kind of interesting how, like, supposedly the average age of a gamer is 33 years old, and the whole online scene and video game site is completely different than what you would have thought
Yeah.
that age group is overall. Like, for example, like if you've read any of the comments over at Yu-Gi-Oh's review of Killzone 2 before the game came out, you would be absolutely shocked at some of these opinions that people are putting out.
I heard about that, but I refuse to go to Yu-Gi-Oh's website.
Why is that?
The whole... granted, it's not exactly their fault per se, but the whole EGM and one-up firings really
Oh, see,
struck a chord.
here's the problem with it. This is the perfect. I'm so glad you brought this up. This is the perfect example of people not doing fact checking with their news, especially this site. It's not your fault, but it's more the sites reporting it.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks that Yu-Gi-Oh closed down EGM, but that's not the case.
Oh, I know. They didn't buy EGM.
They
Jeff
did.
Davis closed that down.
Yeah, and they bought Yu-Gi-Oh, which was going to be closed down anyway if Yu-Gi-Oh didn't do the buyout. So they actually saved a portion of One Up. But EGM, unfortunately, was run poorly, and in the digital age, it's hard to have a magazine nowadays.
No, I understand that totally. I mean, that's why I was more... Some of the people they let go were kind of shocking, I guess I would say.
Well, they rehired a couple of them. As freelance. You got to remember, Yu-Gi-Oh is owned by Hearst Corporation, which owns a ton of newspapers and magazines, and they're trying to get rid of those properties right now, or to be profitable. So they can't take on that many people, and they're under a budget crunch. They couldn't just hire everyone.
Oh, I know you can't hire everyone, but there's some people there that really would have done well sticking with OneUp.com, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, they rehired Milky who was the editor-in-chief at EGM when it got disbanded.
Yeah.
But, Shane Bettenhauser and Nick Suttner have all got different jobs elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Shane had already had that one lined up. I mean, congrats to Nick Suttner for finding a job pretty quickly after being laid off with Sony. It's a tough time to find a job, and the fact he did it so soon, I think was
And one of the Geekbox guys is now with Future Publishing.
Yeah, and the whole crew over at Co-op are now have a sponsor there.
Yeah, well, it's I think they got the same deal that the Totally Rad show has, as in that they own Co-op, which is from the people who made the One Up show, and it's like a distribution deal with Revision 3.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can do it full time, because I think the Totally Rad show guys, I think that might be a good source of their income.
Yeah.
It's good for them.
Yeah, I've yet to watch the new Co-op episode that came out. The first episode of the new launch with Revision 3. Let's see. How's everybody else been doing right now? Quig, Church?
In pain.
Would you go wrestling again?
No.
Oh.
I sprained my knee sometime within the past 2 weeks, and just been in pain ever since. I going to physical therapy actually tomorrow morning. I went to see my doctor and told me, "Oh yeah, you have a majorly sprained knee. It could be taking up to 2 to 4 weeks to have it healed." Oh, gee, thanks, doc.
So has it hindered your dating this girl?
No,
How's that
I've been
going?
I just came home from seeing her actually. That's why
So that's why I was freaking out of if you were gonna make it or not. I almost texted you. I even said to Quake, I'm about to text him, and then boom, you signed on.
it was funny too because I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, he's gonna text me. I know he's gonna text me like real soon. And so no, I just came from seeing her actually, and I was tired of walking around with the crutches, so I actually got myself a cane. So I'm actually like walking around like house.
Is it like a pimp cane?
No, I wish, but no.
Here's the weekly question. Then you hit it yet?
No.
Oh god. Tactful as always.
Always, you know it. Oh come on, it's the weekly question. What about you, Quake? How you been?
Actually, I've been really good. We actually had some time. We weren't working overtime every day this week, just most of the days this week. So I was actually able to come home and actually play some games, which was kind of nice for once.
You play games? No way.
Yeah, I mean, it actually happens every once in a while when I'm not working like 50 hours a week.
Only 50?
Yeah, only 50.
Dude, that's not a lot of overtime. I'm not convinced. Considering the average is 40, it's only 10 extra hours.
I'll have 57 this week.
It's 2 hours a day.
Yeah,
You still more than enough time for games. You can neglect the family, friends, girlfriend, whatever that is.
I'll have to keep that in mind for next time.
Trust me, it goes great for social life.
Oh yeah, I bet it does.
Yeah. I'm sure that's going to get. Well, I don't really have much of a social life here in Cincinnati because
It's Cincinnati?
this place is a cultural wasteland. I wish I was joking.
Well, since I got a Wii a few weeks ago.
One of us.
Yeah. I did this past Monday. Was it this past Monday I hacked it? When we had the snow? I can't remember. I believe, no, was it Monday
That
or
was like
Tuesday?
2 weeks ago.
What, the snow?
Wasn't that last week?
Okay, yeah, then this past Monday I took off because I was about to start a 18-day straight work. So I decided, hey, I'm going to take the day off. Well, I got in Legend of Zelda, so I did the old Twilight hack and downgraded my Wii to 3.2 and did a full hack. Now, for those who want to hit me up and say, oh, use this site to download these games, I'm not using it for downloading games. I'm using it to play my legitimate import copies.
Of hentai on the Wii.
No, of Suzumiya Haruhi no Gekido.
I know there must be some type of hentai Asian influence here.
Okay, there is an import I have that's not completely... Hold on. It's not completely hentai. It's called Osoji Sentai Kurin Kipa.
What's that?
Which translates to Japanese housewives get naked.
I got a hard stick.
It's, was it Cleaning Squadron Clean Keeper?
Wait, I heard Sentai in there. I heard Sentai. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, that's the squadron part. It's basically a game where you're in heaven. It's a high school in heaven, and these girls start attacking each other, and you have to, like, rub the dirt off.
Right.
Little dirt monsters. Hold on, it's not, I thought it was going to be a lot more, eroge, like, some of the DS games that have come out, but it's really not
Convincing
that bad.
With the title and description so far.
It's really not as bad as it sounds. I really was I would say, for me, I was disappointed. I thought I was expecting more. Now,
God.
it does, after you win those battles, it does unlock some very saucy CG pictures. That's probably as best as you get, like the one I got as a girl in a shower or whatever, eating a banana.
It wasn't like that Wii picture I sent you last week.
No, not that bad. This isn't full blown. It's still a game that is sold in stores.
For now.
Wow.
So did that, and I saw the singer-songwriter Rachel Yamagata last night.
Oh yeah.
Charge. She's awesome. For those who don't know, she's half German, half Japanese. Has a song called, her biggest songs were "Worn Me Down" and "Be Your Love." She's had her songs featured on stuff like Grey's Anatomy and OC.
Two shows that I frequently watch all the
I
time.
don't watch them either. I'm just saying for those out there listening who might have heard her stuff. So before I even got to leave the house to go, I was upstairs and my dog decides that he's gonna start peeing at the top of the steps and walk all the way down the steps while still peeing,
Oh,
and then walk under my coffee table and leave a big puddle.
He can walk and pee at the same time?
I was pissed. I'll tell you right now, I got 2 slaps on him, and he was already hiding in his cage. I didn't have to throw him in the cage. He already knew. I was
What's your
furious.
dog?
Huh?
How old is your dog?
Dog's almost 4 years old. That's what pisses me off.
Is he retarded?
No, I think he does it because he gets angry at me. Not showing enough attention, so...
You're giving more attention to your hentai games than your dog?
No, I was getting ready to go to the concert, and then I had to cut short. I didn't get to shave. I didn't get to shower. I was like, you motherfucker. I was furious. I was screaming at him.
Shower, so you went to the concert after you just cleaned up piss.
Basically, I washed my hands. That was about it.
Oh, you must have smelled something fierce.
No. What? Not like I rolled around in it.
you would never know, Mike. We never know.
No.
Yeah.
Just remember, he's very practiced at washing things from his new hentai game. He washed the dirt off.
Did you try that community game on the Xbox that's like the vibrating game?
No.
The what?
All it is you can change the level of vibration of your controller if you want it pulse or just to be straight and it just vibrates. So pretty much it's like turning your 360 controller into a vibrator.
Wow. And it got approved?
Yeah, you can buy it for like a couple bucks.
Wow.
Oh, dear God.
That's ridiculous.
It's the crappiest looking game of it because you can download like a 2-minute demo. It's the crappiest looking thing ever.
Fangirl service? Anyone?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna go there. All right. So why don't we get into some member feedback and questions? I figure we'll start with the feedback first. So we've got a new listener now, new fan it seems as well. Sweet Cheeks 629. For those who don't know her, she's a fairly new member.
What cheeks is she referring to?
Do not know.
You
She
would
says
never
Sweet
know.
Cheeks 629, but not really sweet. That's what her name says.
What cheeks? That's a big issue of knowing what's sweet or not.
For those who don't know, she's Ace's wife. They recently did get a 360 this past week. After being very into the PS3, they finally converted. But she says, wow, first time I listened to the podcast, she started off at episode 19. She says she thinks the new rumored PSP sounds stupid. I agree, I want something in hand as well, talking about the games as it's a possibility that it's going to be all digital. She says, because what if something happened to your PSP and you had to have it redone? Would they replace your games? I don't know. I just think that the new PSP sounds like a bad idea, but who knows? They'll probably bring it out since they will have some people buy it.
Well, I hope they let you re-download the games that you get. Though knowing Sony, they'll probably foobar that up.
Yeah, Sony's been good about that on the PS3. It's Nintendo that doesn't allow you to re-download stuff.
And iTunes.
Yeah.
What?
And Amazon.
Wait, what?
If you lose your stuff on your virtual console, you're screwed. But we'll talk
No,
about
you
that
don't.
in the yes, you will. Trust me.
Oh, no. Okay, fine. We'll wait, but I'm gonna argue though at that point.
No, you can
Simmer down.
re-download it on your Wii that you own now, but if you bought a new Wii
You can't
because your other one broke, you can't re-download. But we'll discuss that as our discussion. She also says, when I said we have an iPhone app in waiting approval and a G1 app in production, and I said there will probably be a BlackBerry app. She says she also really wants the BlackBerry app, so she's hoping that you guys can get it for Pwn. Also, G Nitro, you definitely are my hero. I'm also looking forward to more of you guys and your podcast. Ace is the one who told me about them, so I figured I would give them a listen. Nice job, guys. See you in the shout box.
You're
P.S.
her hero? She
That's
must
what
have
she says.
extremely low standards for heroes.
Thanks.
Damn, mine's Batman. Nitro? Damn. She obviously does not
I'm
get.
telling you, you better watch it. The next show over at Gametopia, it's on. Since you cut me out of one already.
It wasn't my fault. I tried to get you the next day. Just something screwed up.
Because you hit me up through freaking Skype instead of hitting me up on AIM.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are both open on the same computer?
Yeah, I don't see the Skype messages, though, for some reason.
Sorry, Rich. It was my bad. I ratted you out. So.
Yeah, I would never have known if Church had never said anything, so.
Because I know he doesn't listen to the own show, so we would have been fine if it wasn't for you.
What? There's a new one, so I'm like, okay,
I
I'm
can't
gonna
listen to myself. I really can't. It's tough enough when I have to make an edit, and I got to hear this podcast only because I can't stand my own voice. I think a lot of people are that way.
You think we can stand your voice too?
I hope so. I guess you're the one who invited me on your show, so obviously you can.
I just have too many girls on my show. I needed to get more testosterone in it.
Ain't nothing wrong with any of the girls you have on your show, though. They're all good.
Oh, they're all chill.
She also says, P.S. Nitro, I had fun playing Halo 3 on game night, even though I did terrible.
Was she on? Well, what Halo was this? Our game night or Pwn game night?
The Pwn one. The only one that came on to the Gametopia one was Mo.
Well, yeah, because I told her via Twitter. When? So you guys have yours on Sunday, right?
Saturday. This Saturday will be our Halo 3 at, I think it's a normal time.
Finally got a controller, so it should be better this time around. Because my reload button, because I have one of the limited edition Todd McFarlane Halo 3 controllers, because I love his artwork, but the reload button's like stuck in, so I gotta like basically slam the controller to reload.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
it's at 8 p.m. next week, or this Saturday.
Standard time, correct?
It's Eastern, yes. So 5 for the West Coasters. Now we have comment from Hey Chesick, K.A. Nicola. She says, favorite moment of last week's podcast was Church saying, oh my god, I'm going to have a heart attack at the age of 12. Gotta love or really hate the kids on Xbox Live.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, Sweet Cheeks left us another comment, this time on last week's show. Says, great podcast. Digital downloads to me will be a thing of the future, I believe. I really do not want them to be, but things happen that we cannot control. Also, as Nitro stated, and the rest of the console gamers want something in hand. I like my game collection and being able to physically pick up the disc and play it. My questions to you guys that... let me see. It's not really well spaced out here. Sorry, Sweet Cheeks, not to call you out. My question to you guys that you did not touch bases on was about the hard drives. Yes, you will have to have a huge hard drive, which is true. She goes, but what if something happens and it crashes? Will they replace all your games, or are you stuck rebuying them all over again? I see this as a problem, a huge problem. I know you could maybe back up your files on an external, but most people would not think about it or even want to waste that amount of time. You know, most people do not back up their files now and piss and moan when their hard drive crashes in their computers. I see this as a big problem to come if it all goes digital, and would the companies have legal obligation to give you those downloads again? Or would they have a clause in that contract that states that after you download a copy of a game, they have no obligation to let you re-download the copy?
Well, I know she said it's something of the future, but it's kind of not. Like, with the Xbox, you can re-download stuff.
Yeah, it's PS3 as well.
And with the PS3. So that's good.
Yeah, the Wii, if you have the same Wii, you can, but it doesn't go by a count.
Which, once again, is dumb. But if more services make their stuff like Steam,
yeah,
where it doesn't matter where you are, you can download, then you're not going to have to worry about a hard drive issue because it's being backed up on their machines.
Right.
Yep.
And creates less clutter. As much as I like having a copy of games, you ever try to move with all that stuff? You give like 7 boxes dedicated to games.
See, I don't mind. I have 2 full shelves of games. I should say bookcases of games, not shelves. I I don't know. I think the problem, like I heard on another podcast recently, what happens when it switches consoles? Will that console then allow you to download the games you had on the previous console?
I don't think it has to.
Yeah, because it's going to cause a problem, but unfortunately nobody knows how that's going to work until it actually happens. So we will find out around 2012.
I can see maybe if it's like the new Xbox, and you already own like games like Braid, that you could re-download them. But if like say Xbox goes away and then like Sega comes out with a console, yeah, I don't see that happening.
Yeah. I also wonder how they'll do digital downloads as in new maps and stuff for games. I'm sure maps you'll be able to do, but I can't see every game being allowed to re-download expansions.
You can re-download expansions and maps, especially with the
Well, I'm saying with the new console.
well, I don't know.
Halo 2 allows it. I know if you do Halo 2, you can actually go in there and re-download the maps for Halo 2. And they're free now. So.
Well, that's because if you brought out a 360 and have it support Halo 2, no one did. That first year that was out, no one would have got it for that reason.
True.
But,
She finishes up with the future may be now, but I do not think it is time for a digital download-only console. Too many issues need fixed with the disc-based consoles before we can even think about going digital. I totally agree there. I say leave digital to PCs and discs to the consoles.
I think if they want to go completely digital, that they have to have the infrastructure to store the stuff on their servers and not have.
Yeah. Well, I completely agree with right now leaving it to PCs and only because with PCs you can always change your hard drive out. With the 360 you have to buy what they sell. Wii has no hard drive, and PS3 you can go up to about a 320 gig, which is what I have, and that's about it because after that this RPM speeds get too high and actually will melt inside the machine.
Really?
Yeah. They tell you don't go above 5400 RPM.
54. Oh, you can't get 7200?
You're not. They advise against it.
Wow.
That's quite interesting.
Chess also said, I thought you guys would find this pretty neat. I was listening to the podcast and her Japanese friend Miyako came in and was listening to some of it, and she had her try to guess which one of you was who just by your voices. So she went to your pages and she matched Church's voice with his picture.
Yes.
But thought that Quiglin's voice belonged to Nitro and Nitro's voice belonged to Quiglin.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm officially insulted.
Oh, come on. See, I stayed away from that. I was going to go there, but I said, you know what? I'm going to be the bigger man.
Well, I'm not going to be the bigger man. Come on, I play hentai games. You really think I'm going to be the bigger man?
Maybe that's why you're still single, is these hentai games.
I mean, dude, Quiglin, you're not insulted that you're known as G Nitro?
Well, I didn't want to say it, though. I didn't want to be, that guy.
She also asks us, this is our only question for the week, what are some of your hobbies that you enjoy other than video games? Who wants to start?
G Nitro, please.
I'm not going to say anything off the bat. Somebody start. I'll go last.
I also, besides video games, whoever listened to it a couple episodes ago, I also DJ online for Simply Radio, which is an Asian radio station. I also, before I even hurt my knee, worked out and, just go out about with my friends and, hang out and drink and whatnot. So that's my hobbies right there.
Rich, what about you?
Well, I'm going to sound like a complete geek now. Still really
books.
Yeah, books. Love graphic novels.
I was going to say, do you do pen and paper RPGs?
I have, not recently.
Wow.
Been a couple of years, though. I know a few of us on our podcast are trying to start up a Skype Dungeons and Dragons game.
Weird.
Nice.
That'd be
Quig
nuts.
would be the one to say nice.
Hey, I think that's pretty clever.
You are the Lord of the Rings online guy, so that kind of gives it away.
Well, that's a video game. I also am trying to learn the guitar, which has been a long struggle. And then I go to the gym pretty 5 days a week, though you can't really tell. and they ski. And I love movies. Love movies.
Nice.
Oh.
Quig, I just wanted to say the reason why I say Lord of the Rings Online is because it seems to be the MMO that more of the D&D style people go towards, not unlike WoW, which hits everybody, and especially more of the casual market.
I love WoW. I just haven't had the time to play. I'm gonna say that. Just throw that out there.
I've been thinking about trying to get back into it, but I don't know. We'll see.
Wait, what server are you on?
Who?
Rich.
But yeah, it's been a while. See, when you start a website, all your time goes into the website, and you have less time to play WoW. Because WoW is sucking up 40 hours of my life a week, easily. I have a character on Gilneas, and I was on Blackwing Lair, but I'm trying to transfer my 65 priest over to another server, but you weren't doing transfers at the moment.
Okay, here's the important question for me then: Horde or Alliance?
I have my 65 priest is a horde, and I got a 40-something rogue that's alliance.
For the Horde.
Yes, for the Horde.
WHORED.
Well, I enjoy playing horde. I really like horde because especially the whole Undercity and everything. But I gotta say, I really like how polished the alliance side is, too. Like, to me, I guess I'm more allegiance because I've had better luck on the horde side because it tends to be less immature kiddies.
Yeah.
Compared to the alliance, but with the alliance side, I like the look of like the huge built castles and the whole Renaissance style. I really like. But it's a community game, so what makes it is the community get on the horde side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you, Quig? What are your hobbies outside of gaming?
Outside of gaming, I really like to read. I like to do a bit of writing, and I just finishing up my media review writing class this upcoming week. Finished my paper yesterday, so I enjoy doing that. And otherwise, I'd like to just watch a lot of movies. Pretty much. That's about it.
All right, my hobbies outside of video games include.
Oh, here we go.
Anime is a big one. I got into that when I was 13. Been a fan ever since. Got out of it for a long time and recently really got back into it.
Talking young Japanese girls online.
No. I also like. I'm a big fan of music. I love going to concerts. Like I said, I went to Rachel Yamagata last night. I see Vienna Tang in May. Might go see Lady Sovereign as well in May, but I'm not sure yet. Because that show's at 11 o'clock p.m. in D.C. in a bad area of D.C. and I wouldn't get out of it till like 2 or 3 a.m. I don't think I'd make it back home.
Wear a vest and bring a knife.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get in the club with that.
I have diabetes. I need to cut steak later. That's why I have a knife.
I'm also into movies. Just saw Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. Really liked that movie. I was kind of surprised. I saw it because I'm a Kat Dennings fan. I thought she was hot ever since 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Kat Dennings fan.
Yeah, she's the daughter from 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah. Wow, I actually agree with you on something for once tonight, Joe.
Yeah, she's freaking, and she is hot in this movie as well.
God, because she's like not like I'm so gorgeous hot. She's like that gothic nerdy geek hot.
Yes, very.
That I really like.
And she's awesome in this movie. The whole movie was good. I liked it. It's definitely a love romance thing, but there's enough humor in it for guys to really enjoy it as well. And I'm also a big, I call myself a beer snob. I'm always willing to try new beers. Prefer microbrews and imports.
Oh, she was in Big Mama's House too. Ugh.
Yeah, I didn't. That's the only movie I haven't seen. One of the few movies I haven't seen. I saw her in House Bunny, but
she's done a lot of TV. Have you watched like her Without a Trace episode in CSI?
No, I haven't. I don't watch any of those shows.
I don't either. I'm just looking at her IMDb page. Someone said she looked like a Hillary Duff.
Ugh. No way. Hillary Duff's an idiot. She also said that when she was dating that guy from Good Charlotte, that they come from the ghetto of Waldorf, Maryland. Waldorf, Maryland. I don't want to say anything because I think we got some people there from there on the flight. But I'm gonna say it. Waldorf, Maryland is more white trash than ghetto. I'm sorry. He did not come from the fucking ghettos of Maryland. He came from freaking Hickville.
Who?
Whoever
Who's?
the lead singer of Good Charlotte is.
Hasn't he been around the block? I'm sure he has something.
And then
like
some, probably.
He's just that whole.
And so I'm sure he at least has herpes.
I can't stand that asshole. I can't stand the group. It's one group from Maryland I wish never came out of it. While, groups like Jimmy's Chicken Shack have gone pretty much nowhere when they should be getting more exposure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. Like I said, big beer snob. I love trying new beer. I don't drink piss beer. No Coors, no Bud.
I stopped after I got out of college and realized that I'd rather drink the nicer stuff.
Hey, I drink really nice beers. Expensive.
Like
I bought a 4-pack that cost me about $16 to $20.
Did you drink? Have you ever tried like the Sam Adams cherry wheat and stuff?
Yeah, I don't like the cherry wheat. I did try their blackberry wheat, which was very good.
I haven't tried the blackberry wheat, but Blue Moon put out a new beer last week.
Yeah, I saw that.
Their Spring Fling. It's pretty much a summer lager. Nothing special.
I haven't tried their Spring Fling. I've tried their honey one, and I've tried their pumpkin. I like their pumpkin ale.
Cool.
But so that's about it for our member feedback and questions.
Is that like an essence of a Phil Collins song? I remember.
No Phil Collins here.
Oh, what are you, a Sean baby?
No. Almost South Park. Their Phil Collins episode was great.
See it. The last time I watched South Park, I haven't seen South Park, well, since the World of Warcraft episode.
Wow.
Before that, I like literally had to stop watching South Park because I was visiting actually a friend of mine who lives down in the Columbia section of Maryland.
That's where I'm looking to move.
And so I was there because we had, I used to play lacrosse, and we were at there's a tournament down in Maryland called the Beltway Bash for all these, it's like a college pickup league kind of, but it's a little more organized. So we went down there one year. Let me tell you, traveling with a bunch of guys into a hotel room for a lacrosse tournament is absolute debauchery. Nonetheless, before I had arrived a couple days early, and was staying at my friend's house in Maryland because it was like spring break. And we were chilling one night and we started to watch South Park, and it was the Kenny gets the golden PSP and controls the army to kill off the army.
Oh, that was
hilarious.
But it was a whole parallel into like I can't remember the name.
Terry
of it.
Schiavo.
Yeah, Terry Schiavo, who, if folks don't remember, was the lady that was on life support, but they wanted to pull the plug because she had no chance of whatever with coming out of her coma, and it was all these problems. And in the episode, Kenny gets put on life support, and there's a whole debate whether or not to pull him off or not. And eventually, I forget exactly what happened, but. So that episode ends and everything, and we continue. We ended up falling asleep on the couch because we just watched TV until we fell asleep. I wake up the next morning and it's on the news that lady died. The next day, after I watched the episode and laughed my ass off on South Park, I was sitting there and I'm like, because my buddy's named Mikey. I'm like, Mikey. He's like, what are you waking me up? I go, remember South Park last night about that lady? He goes, yeah. I'm like, she just died this morning. He goes, oh shit.
Dude, I don't care. It's still a funny episode. They've done a lot of stuff that's probably considered too soon, like when they made fun of Steve Irwin's death. I don't know if anybody saw that one. Satan was having one of those My Sweet 16 parties, and there was a costume party, and Steve Irwin shows up with a stingray hanging out of his chest, and he's like, well, Satan, it's me. And he's like, he goes at first, he goes, you need to leave. That costume, it's just too soon. And he goes, but it's me, Satan. And Satan's like, oh, well, you're not in costume. Get the fuck out. I was like, oh my God. And it was a week or two after, maybe a month. But I remember the media threw a fit because he was their darling news story. But they threw a fit, and it was all over about South Park about it.
People went to Halloween dressed as Steve Irwin random when I was in college.
People went as Virginia Tech victims.
Yeah, I saw that. That got some press, which was a little.
That was a little fucked up.
Yeah.
Um,
Whoever came up with that idea should really burn.
yeah, that was way too soon. I mean, I think it was like that next Halloween.
Do you guys remember the what was it? The California wildfire that was like they couldn't stop it and whatnot. Well, I think that Halloween, I think someone around here, one guy was like, he had like this cardboard of California, and another guy was like the fire, and they came together as like the California fire. I'm like, really? You gonna do that around here?
That's creative.
The best was I don't know if anybody watched the Hurricane Ike coverage and saw the pedo bear dancing in the background. That was great. He was on the thing, like even the newscaster had to say something, and then they tried to cut away from him. But yeah, YouTube bear dancing Hurricane Ike. Oh, it's freaking hilarious. It's right on the beach. But let's move on. It's a slow week for Pwn news. Just a heads
up. There's a show going on?
Say what?
Is that what we're doing? We're doing a show?
Yeah. Whoa, I thought we just wanted to talk about games. I didn't know we were recording this, dude.
We gotta move on. We're gonna get to more games in a bit. We gotta get this part out of the way. Then we can go back to off-topic shit.
She is well stocked, this Kat Dennings, I must say.
Yes, she is. Anyway, on the phone news side. God damn it. Dude, I'm gonna start calling you Robert Ashley in a second.
Sophistication plus.
So basically, this is changes coming to the news section of Pwned. A huge revamping. I can't say any more right now. We're still working out details. I'm gonna be working with my managing editor Hades on the ideas and such, and then I'm gonna have a meeting with all the writers. And some writers, well, I'm not gonna say anything yet. But we're definitely gonna make sure that the core writers are gonna stay. People who haven't written in a month or so, sorry guys, we can't hold on to dead weight. We need people that are dedicated.
Seems to me that the proper way to say that is you're going through some structural changes.
I am not being PC. I'm not a PC person at all.
I work at a company that does this stuff really well. But all of those people will be treated with the respect they've earned and deserve.
No, but you know what? I sent out PMs to all the writing people that were on the writing staff. Most of them have not gotten back to me. By the time the revamp goes through, anybody who hasn't gotten back to me is just going to be taken off. It's nothing personal, but if you're not going to at least give me the respect of a reply, I just got to take you off.
Do you know she blogs and has a video blog on YouTube?
Dude, okay, fine. We know Kat Dennings is hot, she's sexy, and we're all gonna go check out that blog and video blog when she's done.
She's on YouTube. Damn.
Yeah.
But we're also our street team. The street team is getting closer and closer to being a reality. Clover is heading that up. So if anybody has any questions or want to help out, definitely give her a message, and you can discuss anything you want with her, and that should be up soon. I believe it's...
The street team is like their take on Hitler's SS. They will beat you into submission until you go to pwn.com.
Street team is us throwing stickers up anywhere and everywhere till one of us gets arrested, then we stop. No, I'm just kidding.
I like Rich's idea better.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm sure that'll give us press, but not the press we want.
There's no such thing as bad press. Just remember.
I seriously said that when we were at one of these gaming events, we just walk up to somebody and just punch them. That's actually well known in the industry, and walk away.
Dude, she has all of these pictures. This is gaming related.
Yeah, right.
She has a hamster sitting in like this hamster arcade unit playing what it looks like to be. It looks like a fighting game from Sega.
Wait, where are you seeing this at?
On her page, I went to Kat's photo album.
Look, we will deal with this at the end of the show. Let me finish my phone news. God damn
Seriously,
it.
we can e-stock her later.
I'm writing here tonight and be like,
Rich, I don't sit there. I don't derail your show that badly. Come on. It's gonna be on. It's gonna be on at the next episode.
Oh, that's gonna be one I can't wait to listen. Wait, can I be in it or no?
I gotta check this. I don't think we have anyone scheduled for this week. So yeah, we could probably throw you in. I gotta check the schedule because I know we have people coming on for the next couple weeks, so I gotta check.
That's fine.
Pwn game nights. We had our Left 4 Dead night the other night. Due to the crap scoring that Valve set up in Left 4 Dead and how quickly the scores go by when I'm trying to take them down, we're now doing everybody who shows up just gets 100 Pwn points. It's too much work to try to get all the scores down and pay attention to what's going on at the same time because they quickly go off the screen. I got frustrated last night and just said, fuck it, everybody gets 100 points. Next night's COD4 this Wednesday at 9 o'clock Eastern. After that, we have our Soul Calibur 4 night, Friday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. Then Halo 3 is 8 p.m. Eastern this Saturday. And let me check the Resistance 2 time on Sunday, which also has a CSS night at 4. But we will have Resistance 2 at 6 p.m. Eastern. So for those who didn't trade in the Resistance 2 when they got Killzone 2, definitely got to come out to that. So that's it for Pwn News. Let's move on to what we've been playing. Rich, why don't you start us off?
Sorry about that. So Friday night, I decided to cave in and come and purchase Braid and play it, and I beat it. Well, I don't think it's worth the price. I definitely think that the story is actually really good. I actually really enjoyed the ending.
Is it as pretentious as people say?
I think that the guy who made the game is very pretentious. I don't know necessarily about the game.
Do you think people just take that bias into the game when they play it then?
Yeah, I could definitely see that. It's unfortunate that he was that outspoken because it kind of put like a harping on the game like that.
I know it made me not want to play it. I was just kind of like, you know what, dude? If you're going to talk like that, I don't want to support you.
Yeah, which is, it's kind of unfortunate that it casts a shadow like that, but it's a well-written story. I don't think it's worth $20, but the art style is great, how it looks like a painting. But now he's like, oh, it's a puzzle game, and you got to learn how to do the puzzles. The puzzles themselves, once you learn what you need to do, aren't difficult. What makes them difficult is you don't know what you can do and not do to solve those puzzles. It's like the equivalent of me having you solve an algebra problem, but I haven't taught you how to do the basic algebra equation yet. So you're a little confused. I'm like, oh, I can do that? Really? So I had gone to an internet to get like a walkthrough on a couple places, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that you could do that mechanic. That was never presented to me.
That
so
sucks.
It's kind of more like leaving you out in the open of like, oh, which I don't like. I like a puzzle game like, okay, you can do this, this, and this, and it gets harder in difficulty in the strategy. Not, it's just going to be harder because we're not going to tell you what to do. That's kind of a cheap way of doing it.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, the ending is actually really good. It's what made the game for me, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I've already heard the ending, but I don't want to say any spoilers on the show.
Well, we could spoil it. I mean, it's been out for over a year, and we just say spoiler, fast forward the next minute or two.
True. I don't know anybody else on the show ever going to play it.
No.
Not done.
Go for it. Spoiler alert, damn it.
All right, so spoiler alert. Fast forward a couple minutes. So you spend this entire game looking for a princess, and obviously it takes the classic Mario line. It's like, I'm sorry, but your princess is in another castle. And you continue to go through these levels collecting these puzzle pieces. And the main reason you can't die in this game is because this guy has this ability to go back in time to fix all of his mistakes. Because when you make a mistake in the game, potentially you die, therefore you can go back and change it. So then you get to the end of the level, and a big knight comes down, and you see the princess, and she's like, help, help, I need help. And it's this really cool, unique moment that you're playing through the game. There's this wall of fire coming after you, both of you, and she's opening up doors and passages for you to get through, and you're doing the same for her, and you're kind of working together. You get to the end. You finally get to the safe area, and you see her up on her balcony. So you climb up there, and you get into her balcony, and you walk into her room. And all of a sudden, like, the screen goes a little dark, and like you can't move left or right, and she's asleep. Like, nothing's happening. You can't do anything. So the only thing you can do is to rewind time. So you hit the rewind time button, and you do that, and then all of a sudden you realize you can't move at all. The only thing you can do is rewind time. So you actually rewind that whole level. When you rewind that whole level, you watch what happens, and it actually shows you that she was the person that you were running from the entire time, and that you were really just stalking her. And that you really can't fix mistakes is the whole theme of the game. And that the knight in the beginning, when you first got there, whisked her away and saved her from you. And opening and closing the door, she was actually opening and closing doors on you to make sure she couldn't get to you. You couldn't get to her.
Wow.
So it was actually, you're playing it and you're like, oh my god. So it was very good.
Maybe I'll play it when it hits PC or when it takes a significant price drop.
Well, they had a price drop 2 weeks ago by like $5.
Yeah, but that's the problem. I'm very picky about how much I'll pay for downloadable content. So,
for me, it all depends. Like actually I do, but I originally bought the holiday pack off of Steam where the orange box came out, so I could get Half-Life and Counter-Strike and all that. It was like $30. I didn't have packaging, but that's all technically downloads.
Yeah, but see, I don't mind that because they're packed now, even at $100. You get 22 games for $100.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you get like Half-Life 2 is one of the greatest shooters of all time, so.
No comment.
It is. I agree with you on that one.
No comment.
Yeah, Nitro, you sure you should be hosting a video game podcast? No,
what? What? Just because I don't like games like Half-Life 2?
It's an awesome shooter. How do you not like that game?
It is not an awesome shooter. An awesome shooter is like Call of Duty 4.
Oh, good. Don't even give me that bullshit. The controls in Half-Life on the PC for Half-Life 2 are so much cleaner and so much tighter than Call of Duty 4. And Call of Duty 4 on the console multiplayer is the most overrated experience I've ever played. It's nothing but Twitch gameplay. It's so
dude, it's fucking awesome on the console. I just wish you could turn off Juggernaut.
And that's the other thing. The stupid perk, the fact that I have to go so many rounds or so many times and kill someone before I can call an airstrike. I can't just go to the car like a normal army person would and call an airstrike. It's a completely broken game mechanic.
So
do you... and the perks I do not like.
Well, do you like Killzone 2 and its badge system? It's the same thing except worse.
I don't like Killzone 2.
Because their badge system is worse than anything Call of Duty's ever done.
I think I talked about it. I think Killzone 2 is a very overrated game. The first one was a mediocre shooter, and this is a mediocre at best.
In my opinion, the first game was a subpar shooter. It wasn't even mediocre.
I'll agree with you on that. Why this one got so much hype, I don't know. The graphics look, but there's crappy animations. You're a midget through the whole game.
Yeah, you're a midget while everybody else is normal height. It's like, what the hell?
But you're normal height in the cutscenes in Killzone 2.
Yeah, your normal height, it's like you're seeing out of your stomach.
But while I don't like Call of Duty 4 multiplayer, I do enjoy the single player. It was very good, the single player campaign, but it does not have the story element that Half-Life 2 has.
Oh, I'm not taking anything away from the story element of Half-Life 2. I just did not like the gameplay mechanics myself.
It's a shooter with some of the best controls. How do you not like that?
I didn't enjoy it.
You are so the minority that I can definitely see you're wrong in this case.
I have no problem being a minority like that. I mean, not everybody's going to like every game.
I know, but you gotta have liking a game that's as amazing as Half-Life 2.
I get crap all the time because I don't like Half-Life 2. I don't like Fallout 3. I don't like BioShock.
What? BioShock?
Nope.
You, my friend, are just a shill.
Dude, BioShock, now that is an overrated gameplay.
How is that? Do you even know the ending of what that game is? Nope. The story is so great and how that story is told to me.
The problem is, story and atmosphere is great, but if you don't give me gameplay elements I can deal with, I don't want to keep playing.
What gameplay elements can't you deal with? You shoot a gun, you jab stuff in your arm, and you're shooting all these different things out.
Didn't
You're setting
suit
up
me.
traps to get the big daddies. How can you not deal with that gameplay?
Did not suit me.
Do you smoke crack?
You see what we have to
Dude.
work with?
No, like I love certain shooters.
No.
There's
You like literally like. Let me guess. Do you like Call of Duty World at War?
no, I can't stand that game.
What? Okay, so I want the top. Your list of top 5 games of all time.
Top 5 games or top?
Oh
5
God,
shooters?
you know there's gonna be a couple hentais in there.
Top 5 games of all. Like if you were going to a deserted island, you could only take 5 of the that you think are the best games ever. What 5 would those be?
Suikoden 2.
What's that one about? I haven't played that one.
It's a PS1 RPG. It's probably the best Japanese RPG to ever hit the States.
Okay.
I know Mass Effect is probably another one.
Mass
I don't know.
Effect. Mass Effect is great.
I'll-
I can play through that game over and over again.
I'll give you Mass Effect.
Gotta go with another RPG, Persona 4, because it's got 100+ hours of gameplay.
Is that the one where they shoot themselves in the head?
That's
Yeah.
Persona 3.
Oh, I haven't played Persona yet, so.
But yeah, Persona 3 is the same way. And if you get the one with the FES pack, it's like 120+ hours of gameplay. Truthfully, you could take either 2 of those. I gotta take Saints Row 2. I love that game, just how fun it is. It just because of how fun it is. It's not. It doesn't try to be anything except a fun game.
But that's the problem. We're in like the games are in. Well, I'll go on my rant. Continue your list.
And one more. This might shock some people, but I gotta go with Toe Jam and Earl, the original.
That's a good one.
I like Jim and I'll give you those. I'll give you that. The RPGs I'm not too up on. I can understand why you don't like, but Saints Row 2? Seriously.
I love it.
Games are in like this weird state right now where we got some really, really good like titles that you can consider art, and then you got all this crap out there that really brings down
But games, this is the thing you just said. It's games. Not every game has to be art. GTA 4 was a great story, great graphics, but it was boring as shit. Saints Row 2, you just pick it up and you can go play. It's fun. It makes fun of itself. It makes fun of stereotypes. It makes fun of everything.
BioShock, great gameplay, great story, great atmosphere.
I love the atmosphere. I love the audio. I love the story. I did not like the gameplay. It was not my style. Might have just been a little too slow for me, which is why I don't like Half-Life that much.
Slow.
Another reason why I didn't like Deus Ex. It's just kind of a slower paced game.
How is it slow? I mean, there's a whole level in Half-Life 2 where you're up on the rooftops and you have like those zombie aliens.
I'm sure I haven't made it that far.
You're like shotgunning left and right.
I'm sure I just haven't made it that far.
Because Half-Life starts off, a little slow, and it builds up the action as it goes. Because it wants you to get to a certain level so you can handle that action. It's not going to just throw you in it and then you're not going to be able to do. If you take someone and you throw them in like the last couple levels of Half-Life 2 compared to the first few levels, there's no way you're going to make it out. Half-Life 2 is a game you got to play full because the action gets so ramped up at the end. It's unbelievable, and yet the story is compelling.
But you got to keep my attention, and it didn't.
I mean, coming from me, a kid who has ADHD, kept my attention. I don't know why it won't keep yours.
Just didn't. I mean, it just didn't keep my attention. I mean, I don't know what it is. I just could never get into the Half-Life series.
Oh my god.
I love now. Don't get me wrong. I love Portal. I thought that was an amazing game with the engine.
If you guys want to talk about real games, you got to come over to Gametopia stuff.
All right.
And I'll have to get G Nitro off the show there because.
Why, you want everybody to think the same? Then that's just gonna be a boring podcast.
So much of me has. Well, we don't think the same. So much of me has died on this episode right here.
Dude, there's plenty of games that I love that other people love, but there's some games I'm just kind of like, I don't see the hype.
Rich is going to get off the podcast
WoW. I played WoW up until level 26, and I said, I can't play this shit anymore.
Because WoW opens up, you got to give it a chance. Yeah, I'm telling you, there are parts in WoW that I resent playing. I'm like, oh my, yeah, there are problems. I know WoW is like, yeah, it takes too long to get to the end game content, and there's too much grinding and this and that. And if they change that, it'd make it a lot better. But some of the stuff, especially at the later levels, and the whole community thing, and when you're playing with people to complete the higher level dungeons, it's a great time. It's well worth the.
What you're saying is part of my point. Where you say you have to wait for the later levels. Same like you said with Half-Life 2. I have so many games I try to play and I try to experience, and I'm a big RPG fan, like a Japanese RPG fan, which those games take from 30 to 50 to 100 hours depending on the game. And those are the games I like to put time into. But even with those, if it doesn't catch me within the first, I don't know, 3 to 5 hours, I'll move on. And that was my problem with some of these other games. If it doesn't catch me, it may get better in the end, but there's
5 hours.
so much.
BioShock, they're almost done. It's an 8-hour game.
I'm just saying 3 to 5 hours. I played BioShock up until a certain point, and I just couldn't do it anymore. But to me, I have so much on my plate. It's either keep me going or I'm just going to move on. And it's nothing against the games per se. It's just I have so much I'm trying to experience that I'd rather get a taste of something and be like, okay, I'll come back to this at some point or I won't.
Where's the fire? What's the rush?
There's so many games out there. My backlog is at least 100 games deep.
Yeah, so
and new games keep coming out.
Yeah, but you can have time to. You don't have to get them done right away. Yeah, my backlog's deep, though. I put 3 games away this weekend.
But this is why some games like Saints Row 2 or even 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, while they're not great games art-wise or story-wise, there's something I could just pick up, play through quickly, be done, and I had a great time with. Now, I would tell everybody right now, 50 Cent is not a $60 game by any means. 30 to 40 tops. I mean, I think it's one of the things that companies need to figure out where their prices stand on some of these titles. But to me, if you can make a game fun enough that I can just play through, get done in a day or two, boom. BioShock I just couldn't do.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoy playing games that are just fun and you can have a good time playing, like Wii Sports. You know, not the most in-depth game in the world, but it's fun to play every now and then to just pick up and go play.
See, I only find that game fun when friends are over.
That's true too, for the most part. But don't you get tired of that sometimes? Don't you want something more?
Yeah, and I give those games a chance. But it seems like the RPGs are better suited for me when it comes down to games with story and art. Like Tales of Vesperia is a gorgeous game. Tales of Vesperia has a great story. It looks like you're playing an anime throughout the game, and I loved it. It had the graphics. The voice acting was better than most. Hell, the voice acting in Tales of Vesperia is better than any Square Enix game by far with voice acting. And I'm not a fan of English voice actors, but when you can get me to deal with it and it's not bothering me anymore, you're doing a good job. But it's stuff like that. There's some things I'm into and there's some things I'm not. I'm not hating on BioShock. I joke with people and say it sucks just to get a reaction. I truly don't think the game sucks. It's not my style of game that I really want to play.
Gamer, you need to finish BioShock.
Maybe if it ever hits $5 again on Steam, I'll pick it up.
Because the ending is more than worth the payoff. If you save the Little Sisters.
Maybe my problem is I went into the game trying to get that beat the game on hard achievement right off the bat, and I just got frustrated with it and gave up.
Yeah, see, screw achievements. They're overrated, and they're probably not even going to carry over to the next console.
They better.
They're not, because that would be too intimidating for someone coming in. Say someone who's new to the game market, I want to get Xbox. Well, everyone has 15,000 gamers for compete with that.
I think they're going to have to for the people that have racked up 100,000.
I think the achievements are overrated, and you shouldn't play a game based on achievements. I think you should go play BioShock, put it on easy, you know?
Which is why I usually play games on anyway, because I try to enjoy the story more than anything.
I'm telling you, the story alone is more than worth it, and get the audio diaries as you go along, because you learn so much.
I always grab the audio diaries. In fact, I like the audio diaries so much. I had a FAQ open to tell me where each one was. just so I could pick them up. I enjoyed listening to stuff like that. I like when games add in stuff like that, like pick up this and it'll tell you more of the story. That's one of the things I like about RPGs because a lot of RPGs throw stuff in like that.
I'm telling you, just play it through on easy because the ending, if you save the little sisters, the ending of how everything goes down and how it all happens is well worth the time put into that game. And and it's kind of hard to understand why people love that game so much if you don't get the full experience. Kind of like trying to understand why so many people love Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back if you've only seen half the movie.
Well, here, I will add it to my Guzek's request now. I will play it just for you if you will stop saying I'm not a fucking gamer because I didn't like BioShock.
I just said you weren't a true gamer.
I am a true gamer. I've been gaming since I've been freaking 3 years old when I had a freaking...
You are so... Man, you're 1337.
Dude, no, I'm not freaking lead. I'm not one of those kids, but I've been gaming since I was 3. I mean, I had a freaking Magnavox Odyssey 2 that I still own. I still own my Master System. I own all those systems. I have 2 Game Gears. Why? I don't know. They're both fucking broken.
That was a terrible system.
I always wanted a Game Gear.
I liked it because Columns was on it, and I could take Columns with me to play on the road.
Though. It was like the first system was color. I don't know how it couldn't trump the Game Boy.
I'm requesting...
because the battery life on those things were just awful. You put a fresh new one, it's already dead within an hour and a half.
I am 81st in line for BioShock on Guzex. What the fuck? There
Software
better be...
library is the reason why it couldn't beat Game Boy.
Are you... Yeah, that's probably why.
Holy shit, there's 177 copies ready for trade on Guzex.
So you, on Guzek, is it just trading games?
Right now. They did do a recent...
They're making money. Are they taking points off the trade? They charging you a fee to trade?
They charge $1 every time you receive a game, not when you send one out. Whoever receives the game pays just a trade credit, which is $1 each.
So, like, if I wanted to trade something for Metal Gear, would that person have to approve the trade?
Well, they request the game, and the system automatically matches you up. What happens is, it's a point system. You put up a game, somebody requests it, you get those points. Like, let's say I put up Fear 2 today, because I have so many games, I'll pick that back up when it was a good game, but I'll pick it back up when it's a cheaper price. I put it up, I get 1,000 points from whoever requests it. I have those 1,000 points, I send them the game, they leave positive, or something happened, which I've only had one negative feedback out of 850 plus trades.
Why, because it was a hentai game?
No, because the guy claimed it was a scratched up disc, but then somehow a month or 2 later traded that game back out, which pissed me off. But I didn't feel like arguing it. I have so many trades, it's not like it affects my feedback score. And then when I won a game, I take those points and 1 trade credit, and when somebody puts that game up, because you're in a queue, first come, first serve, so as you get to the front of the line, you hit the front of the line, that person puts up their game and they're at the front of the line, boom, it matches you. Now, you can't cancel that trade. You can request a cancellation, but the other person has to accept. But if you're the seller, you can cancel at any time. And they did that because people have had problems where they accept to send a game and something happens, family emergency, they have to leave. But basically, you get matched up, they send that game to you, you leave feedback.
It's kind of works the same way, almost the same way as PlaySwitch.com.
Yeah. And Guzex has asked their members if they would be interested in a DVD or Blu-ray section. I was kind of against the DVD personally. At this point, they're really not worth as much. I think Blu-ray would be a great thing because of the PS3. So I'm pushing for the Blu-ray.
And now they're going to have self-mailers or something, so you don't need to go to the post office, right?
Yeah, and they're a little more expensive, but for those who don't use PayPal or don't like driving to the post office, I mean, I guess it's worth the money saving. I use PayPal, so I save about $1, a little more than $1 against their mailers. But
I'm going to have to check it out. I don't have to buy some crappy games I don't want and trade them.
Yeah, well, what I do is I watch the... People wonder how I got such a point bank. Because I've got about almost $1,500 worth of points. What I do is when Amazon has deals of the day and stuff like that, I find games that are like $10 there, but they're still trading with enough active requests at like $40 to $50. So I'm making like a $30-$40 profit in points when I send those games off. So
Can you edit this section of the show out just so you don't give away the secret?
everybody does it. It's not a secret anymore.
I'm gonna start doing that. Damn.
I do it because people try to say that it only benefits me. I disagree because if somebody wants the game, I'm benefiting them by giving them the game they wanted. So because if they didn't want the game at that price point, they'd put it on hold or take it out of the request. I've had somebody sit there. I'll get the game like it just happened with Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. I got it for $20. It was still trading for over $40 on the site. I picked it up and I said, boom. I got matched up with somebody. The guy goes, hey, I see the Amazon deal today. I'd like to cancel.
You know, the
No
reason
problem. I canceled it for him and I got matched up with somebody else.
now, can you get old school games like SNES stuff?
No, it's PS1 and later. No Saturn, unfortunately. We're still trying to get them to add that, but the problem is they use Muse as their database, and they can only do as far as Muse allows them for the MSRP and such. The reason why they don't want to get into cartridge-based games, a lot of them use a battery, and when that battery dies, it's just going to cause too many headaches for the site to deal with. So.
Well, the battery's easy to.
Yeah, but not a lot of people are going to do that. Somebody's going to get a game, it doesn't work, they're going to leave a negative. So GooseX doesn't want to deal with that. They'd rather stick with CD-based platforms. Actually, the only thing that's cartridge at this point is DS, but that's really flashcards now, so it's not really as bad. GBA is probably the one thing, but I'm sure they'll get rid of that at some point.
See, the reason why I want to get into GooseX is because it annoys me, even though GameStop had the buy two get one free this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It annoys me is because they put the stickers. Not that they put the used stickers on the game itself, is they put the used sticker on the inside flap on the cover art.
I hate that shit when they do that.
So when you try to peel the thing off, most of the time you can't get it off good, and it ends up ruining, and then it looks bad. And I sent a couple emails to GameStop corporate, and they're like, "Well, we need to do this." I'm like, "Well, if you stuck it on the outside, you wouldn't have this problem." And I almost thought about writing an article and comparing it to how Hitler made all the Jews wear the Star of David and it's their flair, and how GameStop wants to fly all their games with used games. But that's not maybe that a little over the top.
Wow. Now,
Rich hates the Jews.
For those who don't know, Cheap Ass Gamer just finished their Cheapy Awards, and GooseX won for the second year in a row for the best online trading site by like 83% of the vote.
Everything on GooseX come like the cover art, the manual, and the disc.
You can choose. It has disc only, disc and manual, or full package.
Because I have a game I have called Call of Cthulhu. Because I want to play it with the Rebel FM, but I'm a little behind on that. The thing is I want the whole. I want to have a nice collection, so I want to get like pristine package in full. So that was a big thing.
That's the thing. A lot of times, you won't get pristine quality. You'll have scratches.
I just want it to look nice and not have flair.
Well, sometimes you get GameStop copies of games, but I'll tell you from my experience, 80% of the games, 85% of the games I get are in very good condition. So, I don't complain. The most problems happen when you try to get a limited edition. Somebody will forget to include something that's supposed to be in there. Now, GooseX has finally come out and stated that DLC that comes with games, like DLC download codes, are no longer required because it was causing too much of a problem.
Well, yeah, because if you get like the Gears of War Collector's Edition,
basically somebody's already used the code and you can't give it back. So people were leaving like neutrals because they said, well, it doesn't include the code. So GooseX finally said, it's a one-time code. Sorry, this is a used game trading site.
Yeah.
So they said no longer.
Now, with 1,000 points, how many dollars does that equal in real life?
50. Not everybody goes by this, but because you can buy points, every 100 points is about $5 on the site.
All right.
That's the value I use. So every time I look at a game, like I got Fear 2 in at 1,000 points, but I have enough to bank up, and I send it back out after playing 3 of the levels. I put it as, okay, I'll pick this back up around 500 points, which is about $25. That's how I look at it, because I'm still a cheap-ass gamer when it comes down to it. That's probably why I have so many points is because I get a game in, play it for a bit, and I go, okay, how would I keep this game? What would the point price be? And that's how I go off of it. So
So Madworld, that's 850 points. It's a $50 game. It should be 1,000.
it's sitting at around 40 right now. How they look at it is it goes off of pretty much a used price, not the new price. So a $60 game will be at 1,000, which is $50. $1,000 is their point cap. Unfortunately, a lot of people, including myself, would like to see it go higher for some games. I don't think newer games that are $60 should be higher than the 1,000 points. I think it should go for the rare titles or bundles, special editions. I think it should go higher, but it caused such an uproar last time when they raised the point cap that they immediately took it away. Basically, for me, there's games like Suikoden 2, like I said on the PS1, that retails full package over $100 on like Amazon and eBay.
Yep.
So people were saying this should be at least 2,000 points to get more trades going. But they say, you know what? If people traded, they traded, and it's been traded. So the site works. It's one of those things. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So they've just been making improvements here and there.
Wow, I think if I bought more copies of Uncharted, I actually would make a profit. It's 950 points. That makes it at $45, and I think it's...
But you got to look at how many active requests are ready and how many people are offering the game up. You have to make sure to watch that before you flip a game. If it has a bunch of people requesting it but no available copies to send out, I'll get the game and I'll flip it on there. Now, if it's the other way around and there's like 20 copies ready to be sent out but no requests, I'll stay away because that means the game's going to start dropping in price.
Now, does the Guzek drop the price or does the community drop the price?
It goes by supply and demand. The Muse database raises and lowers the MSRP, so that'll change it. But they don't do like a huge 200 price point drop or increase. It goes by 50-point increments every week.
Now, do you collect a paycheck from Guzek?
No.
Just wondering.
I just get a lot of games from there.
You know the owner?
I've sent out over 400. I've gotten almost 450 in.
That's disgusting.
So.
This advertisement was brought to you by Goosex.
I do want to say, for those out there, iWeaponX, who is a Pwn member as well, is starting up the Goosex podcast soon. A member-run podcast. So,
I'm supposed to start one up for PlaySwitch, and it never went anywhere. We were going to review old games that you could get on PlaySwitch.com.
And it never worked.
They liked it. I don't know why I haven't got on it. I'm so slacking.
Well, let's move back to the games. We had a huge off-topic there. Now, both Rich and Quiglin have both played Madworld. Let's hear your guys' thoughts. Quiglin, you want to go first?
Yeah, since I only played the first level. For those who aren't in the know, basically it's kind of a Frank Miller style where everything's black and white except for the blood. It's kind of cartoonish, so that sort of the violence kind of looks toned down, but it is a blast. I mean, my favorite, like right away they like to tell you right, okay, use this tire to pin the guy, then shove this sign through his face, and then smash into a wall of spikes, and you're like, all right, and you just go ahead and do it, and it's just a blast. I know Rich is towards the end, but I'm definitely looking forward to picking it up and continue playing it. If you are the type of person that is looking for a hardcore game or complains about not having a hardcore game on the Wii, you need to go out and buy this today. That's about that's the best thing I can say about it right now. Is you just need to go out and play this game.
I think it's extremely overrated for its $50 price point. I think it gets too repetitive after you get about 4 or 5 hours in, because it's just
a brawler.
Just doing the same thing. But it's not I love Streets of Rage 2. I don't find it as fun as Madworld. And I have some issues with the camera. I find the camera to be a little annoying. And near the end levels, they just throw you right into, like, pretty much up until like the last two stages or the last couple of levels. The guys you're fighting are actually fairly easy to do stuff to. It's really not an issue. But then, like, the last two stages, all of a sudden it gets unbelievably ramped up, and you don't feel like you're prepared, and it's a little bit of a problem. But you go through the level a couple times, and eventually it works out. Though I find the game is fun. I am finding it fun. I just don't think I think $50 is a little much to be asking for something that takes 6 to 7 hours to play.
Oh, see, I got a $40 off Amazon, so.
Yeah, well, I did a couple trade-ins at GameStop to get it down to 40. I definitely think that this game would have been better at a $30 price point for the Wii. I think the controls for the Wii, I was surprised at how tight they actually are and actually how good they are. I didn't feel like it was like clunky, like a red stick type of deal. I found the announcers to be, while at some points do get repetitive, they're hysterical.
Hysterical, yeah, exactly.
So like some people don't know, so it's like you were saying, it's in the Frank Miller Sin City style, but it's also like taking the story of Death Race 2000 and Running Man and mixing
Running
it.
Man. Yeah.
Nice. It's definitely a game that I'm interested in checking out. Now, it is all mostly black and white. How does the shadowing work? Does it work very well so you can tell the depth of the air of the, I guess, the surroundings and stuff, so it doesn't look like it's all just one?
Yeah, I mean, have you watched Sin City?
I have not.
The other movie you can compare it to would be Renaissance. They did it just like those movies.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So not everything's filled in. Sometimes it'll just be like lines. And it's not just, it's like black, white, and they use some like a off-white type of color in there for some stuff.
Okay.
But yeah.
But yeah, I think if they, I think they could have given me a little more direction. Like there was one like point in the train sequence where I was stuck on the platform and I'm just like, I don't know where to go now. And they weren't really obvious about directing me on how to keep continuing in the level. And I knew there was a time limit and I didn't know where to go.
Yeah, I mean some of the boss fights. Well, it took me a little while to figure out what you have to do in some of the boss fights to like how to not have a problem. But so here's the thing: in some of the boss fights, you have to duck. If you just keep doing the backflip, regardless of where you are doing the backflip, you just keep doing the backflip, you'll duck the stuff no matter what. Like there's one where they're throwing barrels at me. I just kept doing the backflip, and the barrels were hitting my character. But since he was doing the backflip, it didn't matter. So stuff like that. I mean, so there is some stuff like that. It is a Wii game, but the graphic style make it look great on the Wii. So yeah, but I will actually I'll have a more formal written review, hopefully up by like Tuesday or Wednesday.
Nice. So Quig, what about the Hawks demo? You said you played that.
Yeah, I actually went through it twice. Once with the just the keyboard, and once with a flight stick. And for being a Ubisoft Tom Clancy game, it's actually pretty good. I actually really enjoyed it.
Really?
But I couldn't believe it myself. I was like, oh, this is gonna be crappy Tom Clancy garbage. But actually,
play this.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I got to play the demo at New York Comic Con, and I thought it was. So like when you go to these events as presses, you'll ask people to give you demos before you get into the game, so you know what the controls are, because usually they start you further in the game when you need to know the controls. We got a demo from one of the Frag girls who's now in that TV show, the WCG Ultimate Gamer.
Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about that too.
Let me just say, it was the worst demo I ever received. The main thing that you could tell me about the game, it has 20 planes. What other game has 20 planes? I'm like, Microsoft Flight Simulator. And she goes, oh. I go, actually, I think it might be more than 20, especially with the World War II add-on packs. And I started playing it, and I was like, okay, it's a fighter. It's a combat fighter. And then I didn't like that third-person view dogfight camera.
It was one of those things that if you did I don't know if they let you do the like licensing, like the training demo thing.
No, it was a game demo.
Oh, yeah. You really have to kind of go through that, especially if you're going to use the keyboard, because it makes no sense at first. You're just like, I'm like, why am I, like, you're looking at your screen, and your plane is in, like, the right 10%, like, in the left 10% of the screen. You're like, I have all this sky over here. Why do I have to fly on this end of the screen? The camera is kind of odd, but once you start getting used to it, it actually gets a little better. I mean, that said, it's no TIE fighter. Like, I'm not going to buy this game.
Nice reference there, my friend. Nice reference.
There you go.
I like that.
Yeah.
Big fan.
I loved that game. Anyway.
Were you TIE Fighter versus X-Wing fan too?
No, I never really got into that. I just kind of played TIE Fighter again.
Cool. All right. As for me, really haven't played anything new this week. Played a little Rock Band 2, a little Call of Duty 4, some Halo 3. I guess just the staples. I got some new tracks for Rock Band 2 that have came out over the past couple months, including some White Zombie songs, Miranda Lambert, some Offspring.
You more human than human?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got all the stuff that came out, which was just 2. I believe it was Black Sunshine and More Human Than Human. More Human Than Human on the guitar, pretty boring. Black Sunshine, definitely a more fun track to play. The Miranda Lambert the song is actually a little tougher than most on the guitar. I only really play on medium. I get kind of frustrated and I'll get angry if I go to hard. But I just do it to enjoy the music, and I have a lot of fun with it. So, new tracks were good. I like the Offspring tracks that they chose. I also got Belly Feed the Tree because I used to be a fan of them back in the 90s. So I just tried the new tracks there, and I also tried out finally my Japanese coach on the DS. It's basically a language tutor program, not a game at all. But
the things you do to pick up women, man. The things you do.
No, I'm doing it more for my own, so I can hopefully one day get the TGS. I also have I'm working to try to get Rosetta Stone at some point. But just checking this out. I just played pretty much through, I guess, lesson 3, because it has like this quiz at the beginning that tests your knowledge. So it put me at lesson 3, and it had me going through like the first 15 numbers, 1 through 15. I'll say it really works well with how they teach you how to pronounce it, but it's not till you get to like the mini games that you try to get 10 out of 10 right that you really start memorizing what the words to the Japanese words are to the English words. So it works very well on the hearing, I believe, and speaking. Trying to read and write, I don't think this is really the best one for it. Maybe later on it'll have better lessons, but from what I played, it has it where you can practice the writing of the characters, but I wasn't too impressed because the DS stylus isn't exactly the best thing to write with. And it never really came out the way I wanted it to. So, but it's a good program. I'm sure the other ones, whether it's my Spanish coach, French coach, Chinese, are all the same. Definitely recommend it for somebody who wants a refresher, or for somebody taking a language course. It's probably a great thing to have. It's just a helpful study. That's really about it. I played this week. Hope to finally start Star Ocean 4 next week. I've been keep putting it off. But I know, Church, you've been playing it. You've gotten a little further. What are your thoughts so far?
He's playing it
Oh,
now.
it's my turn?
Yeah.
Yeah. So far I'm liking it as long as you don't mind the voice acting. I
Still hasn't grown on you?
It's really bad. I mean, like I said last week, it makes some of the Saturday morning cartoons voice acting much better than this game. It's just really, really bad. I wish there was an option for like the Japanese dialogue, but there's not. I wish there was, but other than that, I mean, it's a good game so far. I'm actually sort of stuck in this one part. And yeah, running out of items and whatnot, so I have to go back to the town and grab some items and then go back to the area. But other than that and been playing WoW also, so that's all I've been doing and working besides working and all that junk. So
Cool, cool. Well, I guess since we've gone on a tangents,
What are you talking about? We've been nothing but on topic.
yeah, I'm sure. I realized the bringing you on as a guest is a mistake for my outline show.
Listen, you're gonna
Trying
get
to keep the structure here.
you're gonna get the best reviews ever. You're gonna be like, can I have that guy come on and totally rip your outline to shreds?
So, we'll go into the topic of the week discussion. As we said last week, we are going to discuss Nintendo and basically, can Nintendo stay on top? Will they remain at number one in the console slash portable race? As everybody knows, the DS Lite and the Wii have constantly outsold every other system. Heck, the DS Lite outsells the console competition alone.
I think Nintendo outsells themselves every month.
Yeah, probably. So I don't know who wants to start, but who wants to give their feedback on Nintendo, where they're at, and where they think, if they think they can keep this up.
well, in my opinion, I mean, right now, I think their sole purpose is like, hey, we're doing our own thing. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's for the casual gamers, which the majority it is depending on the game that you're playing. But for me as a hardcore gamer, I want them to release more. I don't know. I like to see another Mario title. I haven't played a Wii since I guess the first year when they got it, when they released it. I mean, and I played Zelda, and then after that, after I was done with Zelda, I was like, yep, here you go, GameStop. You can take it all back now. But no, I want to see them to. I want them to see, not see, but I want them to release more titles for the hardcore fans out there. I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, all this kiddie-ish type games is all fun for a while, but I want something more from that system. But with the Wii controller how it is right now, I want to see them do more with it than what
I
they've
think
been doing
Nintendo
now.
themselves, on their first-party titles, have kept that hardcore Nintendo fan market satisfied. I believe it's the third-party market. They don't, besides Madworld or a game like No More Heroes, we haven't really been seeing any third parties really bringing out those hardcore titles. It's a bunch of shovelware. Um, they try to keep the casual gamer going, and this is with the Wii. In my opinion, the DS, on the other hand, is a great mix. You've got games for the hardcore gamer, more of the RPG market, because one thing that I've noticed with the DS and the PSP is that the RPGs on the go have been a huge hit, and the DS is showing that. Final Fantasy remakes of old titles. You've got Chrono Trigger that came back out. Even some new IPs like The World Ends With You that Squaresoft brought out, which was awesome, where you could actually control both the top and the bottom screen during fighting. Crazy to do, but once you get it down, it's a lot of fun. But I think Nintendo, DS-wise, I don't think that bringing the DSi out right now was the smartest decision considering how much the DS Lite is still selling. I think it might backfire a little. Not a lot, but they still got the money-making machines in the Wii and DS that they could probably take that chance with the DSi. I think the Wii, though, is where you're going to see faltering first. I think the portable market's fine. A lot of people are on the go more now. But I think the Wii will take the hit first, in my opinion. Don't know when. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. But I'd say in a couple years, when they either try to bring out a second console or people are going to be like, okay, really, what's next?
No, I agree with you with the DS. I mean, I'm really debating whether or not to get a DSi right now from Japan because I wanted to play some of the RPGs that I have over there and whatnot. But some of the remakes and all that stuff, I really want to get it, but again, I'm having a hard time just to play Star Ocean at the current time. So if I get a DS or a PSP, just for the role playing games, I'm not going to have to because I can't bring it to work because I don't have time. I don't have enough time to. Oh, hey, I'm gonna bust it out and play a stage or two.
Yeah, at least you can take it into your job.
Yeah.
I think in a way Nintendo has kind of abandoned their core audience. Yes, they've put out Twilight Princess, which is a Zelda game, but remember that was developed for the GameCube and they just ported it over to the Wii. Yeah, they had Smash Brothers, they had Mario Galaxy. But other than that, what other titles of they had Mario Kart, which is the staples of that console. But if you just the perfect example is look at the past E3 press conference where they talked about nothing that the core fans have supported them through all of their down stages that they would want to see. It's not it was Wii Music and all this other shovelware that none of us wanted to see.
Yeah, like Gingerbread Man.
Yeah, it's great for if you got a family and a kid. So you're gonna get them. A little kid is gonna love Wii Music, but not for someone like me who wants to see stuff on a new Zelda, a new Mario, or something. To me, I feel a little slighted to tell you the truth because that is the casual gamer's console. It's also the little kid's console.
Yeah, well, my thing is, I do agree that they're abandoning the core audience, but the really hardcore Nintendo fanboys and fangirls are not going to aren't going to drop them regardless of what happens.
Well, here's the thing. I love Zelda. I will continue to play and get Nintendo consoles just so I can play Zelda and a Mario game.
Yeah, the problem is what they're going to bring out next for the next Zelda will probably be on the Wii Phantom Hourglass 2. And it will be, I mean, I liked Phantom Hourglass. I thought it was fun, but there wasn't much to it. It was very predictable, and I just, I did never feel like I was ever in danger.
Yeah, I'm just playing that now, but I definitely agree with what you're saying on that.
Yeah.
But I did find some of the aspects to be unique that you could do on the DS, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And especially the graphic style of that Wind Waker style works so well on the DS. It looks so good.
Right.
But going back to the whole Wii thing, I think they were like, well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna tell them we're gonna bring out these certain games, and basically all they're doing is they're going back to the vault. There's no new IPs. They're just like, okay, we're going to release this, then this, then this, then this, and then we'll start over again, and we'll just keep going on that.
Well,
and
that's what they just did with 2 games. They just released Mario Tennis and Pikmin with Wii controls, and now selling it for $30 a pop.
Right.
Because they know people are going to buy it.
Well, the GameCube did not sell as well as they wanted to. I guess they want to see some of the profits from those games.
I think GameCube fell into the trap of Nintendo trying to be like everyone else. I actually heard this on another podcast earlier today, where Nintendo fell into the trap of trying to be like everyone else when they basically started as their own style of gaming. And I think the Wii has brought them back to that in a sense. Not totally, as they have abandoned their core audience of gamers, the hardcore crowd. But they definitely have said, look, we're going back to the way we were, finding our niche in this market, and they have to a point. So I think they're taking it a little far at this point.
Here's the thing with the Wii, though. I think a lot of the sales are for little kids and toddlers, even though they say, oh, it's a casual gamer's machine and they're selling so much. But I have a 10-year-old sister, and my parents got her a Wii, and they get her the games for Christmas, and all her friends have Wiis. And they're not to the point where, you're not going to get a 10-year-old on Xbox 360 because the amount of games that you can get a 10-year-old on that game are, Viva Pinata 1 and 2 and a few others. there's a better catalog for younger kids on the Wii.
Yeah.
But I think
Another thing is the Wii sells a lot to people looking for that party system. Because if you look at the sales of games, besides Wii Sports that comes with it, the only other game that sells extremely well is Wii Play because it comes with a controller. So these people are looking for the games that they can have that are the older crowd are only buying it because they're having friends over.
well, yeah, let me tell you, if you're gonna play games and you're gonna have a party, put the Wii out.
Yep.
Exactly. Either
Because
that or you better have Rock Band or Guitar Hero or something like that.
It's such a better experience when you have people to play the Wii, and that's what makes it unique. But I also think that why Nintendo is expanding the market to all these younger generations of kids, as they grow older, you're going to see a lot of them are going to want more out of their games. Whether or not they're going to stick with Nintendo is up for debate. Because remember, when I started gaming, I started playing at a friend's house, and I was playing on the Nintendo Entertainment System. I then went to the Sega, and then I went to the N64. So, Nintendo got me into gaming. But now I want something more for my games, and now I play Xbox, PlayStation. I still stick to Nintendo, but...
I agree. Super Nintendo is probably my favorite system Nintendo's ever put out. Because of the plethora of Japanese RPGs. That it actually was the one who, while I played some, like Phantasy Star on the Sega Master System, as a kid, it was very over my head. And I never really picked it up after playing it the first time. It wasn't till Super Nintendo with games like Secret of Mana and such that really caught me and going, holy crap, these games are awesome, and it got me into it. And unfortunately, besides the DS, I wish the Wii had more RPGs. The only one I own is Tales of Symphonia, the sequel, and I haven't even played the first one yet. But it seems like they got away from what made their consoles big in the first place. And now they're like, okay, we found this new market to tap. We're getting huge, but where do they go from here? They want to talk about Wii HD, which is basically the second Wii console. How's that going to work? All these people are buying your console because it's a great party system. These casual gamers are not going to upgrade to the next system.
No, they're not.
Here's the they're not going to upgrade. If you release a new console in the next year or two, they're not going to upgrade. I think even Sony and Microsoft have realized that, especially with this economy, considering we're seeing the greatest financial disaster since the Great Depression, that people aren't going to want to go. And to tell you the truth, I don't feel like I need to upgrade right now. I don't even think we've touched we've only scratched the surface of what some of these consoles can do.
Yeah. But how does the Wii stay? This is the thing. How does the Wii stay in line with their competition? Once people start getting bored of the Wii, I mean, I know they got the new Wii Sports coming out this summer, which will sell well, but how are they going to keep their console selling? There's going to come a point where everybody now owns a Wii, and Nintendo's going to have to slow down manufacturing, and then they're not going to be selling any games.
They're going to do exactly what they do with the DS. They're going to add colors. They're going to make it slimmer, sexier. They're going to add some more peripherals.
They need to add a goddamn hard drive.
How can it be slimmer or sexier than it is right now? It looks like a DVD drive.
It looks like the HD DVD drive that Microsoft had. Honestly.
I have that, by the way. I like the HD DVD. But I think in order for them to get people to buy a new console, one, it's going to have to be at least another 5-6 years away.
Which I think will hurt them. I think they're going to be forced to release
after Obama fixes everything, because we're all drinking that Kool-Aid.
Yeah, let's not go there. We know my thoughts. Let's not touch that subject.
Then I think you have to make something as innovative as the Wii control, because if you just come out with here's another Nintendo console, by the way, here's just a controller, no movement, or it's just Wii controls again, because that's not what captured the market this time, was that they were up and moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is, when does that fad run out?
Well, parents
will it? I mean, will people want all that movement, or are people going to want it more like the way the PS3 has the 6-axis? Are they going to want a little less movement?
I hate 6-axis.
I'm not saying that it's good. I'm saying, are people going to want it toned down a little?
I think that it has its place. I think with games like Smash Brothers, I think it should be an option, where you can just use a controller if you want to. I think they should have made that for Twilight Princess on the Wii. But with that being said, I think the Wii is going to be the reason why I'm actually going to enjoy Resident Evil 4 this time around, because I got sick of it on the GameCube because I hated the controls. I couldn't walk and shoot in a rush of people.
It is so great. I loved it on the Wii.
So I'm hoping to get, because I bought the gun, the Nyko gun that you put the thing in. So I want to get the Wii controls with the gun. I think I'll enjoy the game a lot better, even though you can't walk and shoot like in Dead Space. So I think it does have its place.
Yeah, I think one of the things that some companies need to realize, touching on what your point, not every game needs motion controls on the Wii. I think they need to realize that some games, say you can play this like a normal damn controller. We will not add motion controls. Some games need to get the hell away from that shit.
Just make it an option.
Well, no, some games just shouldn't have it. Some games don't need it. Like Tales of Symphonia, I don't know how it plays yet, but it's a JRPG, a hardcore style JRPG. That should be a classic controller only. You don't need anything special or fancy. Some games just don't need it. Just make it a regular controller. So
And I gotta say, the other thing that I like is how you don't have to buy peripherals to do gun shooting games, even though I did because I feel badass with this gun.
Well, no, I agree. I've talked to a lot of people and said the peripherals definitely feel better, but it is nice that you don't have to go buy them if you don't want to.
Yeah, because you can go get... I want to play House of the Dead Overkill because I played that demo.
Oh, I hear that is awesome. But I hear it's not worth the purchase.
No, it's going to be a rent.
Yeah. Because I hear it's like 2.5 hours long tops.
Oh, yeah.
And if you go back through on hard, it's another 2.5 hours. So,
Plus,
but they say it's definitely a co-op game. You want to play with somebody else there.
I need to make friends in my local area and not over the internet.
Yeah, I agree.
That conversation my mom was calling, how's the cycling and everything. She goes, do you have any friends? And I was like, in real life? It's like, oh,
you mean that I don't talk to with a keyboard?
Do you mean the majority of my social skills are based off of Skype?
I think another thing you're going to see is third-party support going to go way down as far as these hardcore games. I think Sega's making their push now.
Further?
Well, Sega's making the push now. They put out House of the Dead Overkill, they put out Madworld, and they're going to have the Conduit later on in the year. And in the Madworld book, there is an advertisement for the Conduit, and the back page of the instruction booklet is for House of the Dead Overkill. When these three games don't sell, and everyone's going to look at that and they're going to be like, yep, it's only shovelware from now on.
Yep. And I think when No More Heroes 2 drops and doesn't sell that well also.
I didn't like the first one.
I haven't played it yet. I really want to. The style is definitely my style of look.
I felt it could have been a lot better graphic-wise. I thought it looked like crap. Because you can make a good-looking Wii game.
Oh, yeah.
But, Twilight Princess looks really awesome. Yeah, it's not like as awesome as like Resident Evil 5 graphics or something, but it's still...
Yeah. I think another thing, I've had this argument on some sites, is the Wii's lack of allowing things to be region-free. I think one of the big things with the DS is the fact that import games can be played on it. I don't buy the argument that it leads to more hacking and piracy. Region-free does not do anything with that. It's other hacks that do that.
See, that's why I think the Xbox has a happy medium in between where they let the developers side.
Yeah, and no, I agree, but the Wii has flat out said no region free. The DSi, I can kind of understand where they're like, well, the Virtual Console, we're kind of worried because of Virtual Console and WiiWare. We don't want people to access the other ones, but you don't have to let them do that. Region free can just let actual disc-based games play. It's crap that I have to go and hack my Wii to play legit copies of titles I have. So
just import a Japanese Wii.
But that's the thing. I want to play some of the U.S. titles as well. So either way, I'm hacking either one I buy.
Well, couldn't you get two?
I don't want two Wiis. I already got two 360s, which I don't even need to.
Why do you have 360s?
And one to me.
Because I got a deal on the Elite where it was like $100 off back in August last year.
Yeah, give it to Quiglin.
Why does Quiglin need a 360?
He needs something.
I don't have a 360 or a PS3.
Yeah.
Oh. How'd you get on a gaming podcast?
He's a PC gamer.
Oh, really? I like PC gaming. Have you played Crisis?
No, my card I need to up. That's the one thing I need to upgrade is my graphics card.
Crisis, man, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
But people talk about how good Killzone 2 looks. I'm like, look at Crisis. Blows out of the water. Anyways, sorry, Nitro.
Like I was saying with the region free, the one thing I love about the DS is I can buy any game from any region, throw it in, and just play it. I don't have to do anything special. I don't have to hack anything. It just plays. It would be nice if the Wii had that. I love the fact that the PS3 has that because I actually bought, like, with the PS3, I bought Siren, the Japanese copy, because all the cutscenes and all are in English. All I have to do is learn the button layout and menu, but the actual story and all is voiced in English. So instead of paying $45 for the download, I got $30. I got that, and I wish the Wii would allow that too. Let me just put the disc in and play it regardless of where it's from. It doesn't make a difference. Any argument of piracy is bullshit, and it's just them being lazy more than anything.
I think region locking actually encourages piracy.
Exactly. It encouraged me to hack my Wii. I wouldn't have done it otherwise. I don't need to pirate games. I'm not one. When I first hacked my PSP, the only games, even with the DS and I have the R4 card, I'm being honest here. Only thing I use those things for is to try out an import game to see if it's worth the money to import it, because import games are expensive as shit. You pay $60 to $80 for a game. I want to know that it's worth that money, and I've bought plenty of titles. I own special editions of a lot of the import games, which have run me up to $125 easily.
I gotta say, I hacked my original Xbox 2 years ago, while the 360 was out, just so I could see how it all worked. But I don't download or pirate games because I want to support the industry.
Yeah,
is what it comes down to.
I agree. I mean, plus I like having the copies on hand because like I said before, I have bookshelves where I keep all my titles up, and I like being able to say, "Hey, I actually own these." And it's to me, I guess it would say I'm proud to say I own them. I'm proud to say that I'm not a pirate, and I'm not stealing from the industry. That's a big thing for me. I don't like it, because this is why we have so many developers saying we're not making the money, our studio's going under. And it's happened a lot on the PC market. Games are being ripped away, and DRM doesn't help anything, like you said before. It just encourages it. And if Nintendo would look at how the PC market's tried to fight it and it's backfired, region free would stop probably, I wouldn't even say 50% of the piracy, but it would definitely curb at least a third of it.
Well, I mean, the best way to stop piracy is to make the way of getting the actual content that you're paying for easier than with how the pirates are getting it.
Yeah, but I think if you lowered the price point a bit here and there, or unlock the region where people like me, I wouldn't even have to hack it. I mean, some people will hack it, and I know it's almost like a gateway. Somebody hacks their Wii to play some imports, then they start going, well, let me download this game before I buy it to see if I want it. Let me download this one. Let me download this one, because I've already got it hacked. And it leads to people, I believe, when they start getting into that comfort zone of being able to do that.
See, the thing is, I think part of the problem with the market is right now is games are so expensive. I mean, $50 for a brand new Wii game, almost $60 for a new game for any of the next gen consoles. And you look at some of these games have 4 years of development, and they have the same budget as a big budget movie in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Of the movies in Hollywood, they don't get a theatrical release where they can make money off the gross sales like The Dark Knight and stuff, theatrical release. But you look at the product entry for the consumer, and you can price your stuff accordingly. So, say a ticket to the movies is about $10 roughly, given here where your market is. And then you go say you like that movie so much you want to go get it on DVD, regular DVD. We're not counting Blu-ray because Blu-ray can be a little bit more, but you want to get it on DVD. That's $20. So the consumers now spend a $30 investment into a 2 hour plus span. I think that the magic price point for games, who's trying to, who should have a somewhat similar model, is around $30.
See, I think $30 is cheap, considering that you don't get
Yeah.
that double dipping. Um,
Well, see, the thing is,
And you
the
get more hours.
dollars is pricing it out.
I understand that. My thing is, I think
I would have bought, and I can tell you from as a consumer, I take chances on newer games that come out. Like I waited until Mirror's Edge came down to $40 to purchase it.
yeah.
Brand new.
See, I bought that day one, and I never regretted that purchase at all.
Well, I'm hoping I won't regret it, but I would buy more games and I take more chances than being less about, maybe I'm going to rent this one. Like if House of the Dead Overdrive, or whatever it is, came out to me, I'd buy it.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem is not that there needs to be an average price point like that. I think companies really need to look at, okay, let's look at this honestly. Let's not see how many gamers we can sucker into paying the $50, $60. Where can we put it at to where we'll make more money? Games like a Halo, a Fallout 3, Mass Effect, are worthy of that $60. It's a AAA title. No, hold on. It's a AAA title. People pay for it. They sell 2 million copies within the first 3 to 6 months. That's fine. But when you have games like the game I just enjoyed, 50 Cent, really no more than $30, $40. You need to look at what you're putting out there, and you need to look at what's going to sell you more copies in the long run, not how many can you sucker into that $60 price point now, because there's so many games coming out. Yeah, you'll lower it in a couple months, but your game's already forgotten about because another AAA title has hit the shelves.
But also Halo sold so much at 60. Imagine how many more copies they would have sold at 30 or 40.
I don't think as many more. Honestly, I think so many people bought that game on day one because they had to have it. It wouldn't
But
make.
that's also the rare exception. I tell you, if a Fallout 3 or like a Fable or one of the AAAs, but not as popular, definitely would have sold better. Dead Space would have sold better. Mirror's Edge would have sold better because they did not break the million mark.
Mirror's Edge and Dead Space problem is the fact of when they released it, not the price point. The problem is releasing games around Gears of War 2 and other AAA titles. These are.
Yep.
The problem is, how I see it is the company's not realizing where their product stands. Games like Gears of War 2 is guaranteed to sell big time. You want to sell one of your smaller titles that you want people to notice. Yeah, you sell it at $40. Look at Sega Genesis Collection. $30 game. And a lot of stores were sold out of it within the first week. Because while they didn't get a lot of stock in like a bigger AAA title, but people looked at the price point and were like, I get 40-some games for $30 of classics that I'd love to play again. Sold. And Sega was like, this is the price point. This is perfect. People will pick it up. Even Oni Chambara, if you paid nobody would have picked. I wouldn't even have picked up that game at $60. When I heard it was $40 for 360, $30 for the Wii, fuck, I'll pay that price.
Can you explain? Is the Wii one a sequel?
It's technically a sequel, supposedly from what I've heard. I've yet to put it in. I just haven't had time to put it into the Wii. I've heard from a lot of people that it's actually a little more fun than the 360 version, but those are games that will sell extra copies because they're coming out at more of a budget title price point. The company knows this isn't a title that's going to sell at $50, $60. There's a game like X-Blades that comes out at $60 and it's a piece of shit. Maybe at $30 I wouldn't have been so harsh and critical of the game, but at $60 you're not pushing that crap on me.
I bought X-Blades. I haven't played it yet.
Oh,
I played the demo at New York Comic Con and I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it at PAX even though there was problems and I couldn't play the game.
Call me a sucker because I had a great conversation with one of the guys I was talking to about games and where they're going and everything about that I was like, you know what, I want to support him, so I bought the game. Call me a sucker.
No, I agree. I talked to some of the guys when I was at PAX and had a great conversation. I told him some of my issues of how repetitive it was and how it needed a little tweaking. It was kind of long-winded on levels. But it was a game that just when I realized it's a $60 game, I was like, bullshit. This game is $40 tops, and I probably wouldn't have been as critical. But telling me that you're worth the same price as a Halo 3 or a Mass Effect? No, get the fuck out. And the Wii needs to realize that as well. They're titles for casual people. Casual gamers aren't going to constantly pay $50 a game, even $40 a game. Nintendo needs to realize my problem is Nintendo titles stay at their price point so fucking long. It's ridiculous. You go to the store and Mario Kart on the DS is still selling for $35.
Because it still sells.
Yeah, because it's still selling.
The PS3 does that. Uncharted just became $40 used.
Oh, I know. Same with freaking call it? Heavenly Sword is the same way.
I stopped playing Heavenly Sword. I want to continue, but that's access with the cannons.
You can turn that off.
You can?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know. Somebody was telling me you could turn it off. I think they must have added a patch.
Oh, if you can, I'll go get that game tomorrow. Because it was awesome. If I don't have to use 6-axis, I'll be so happy. That's what... Like, the 6-axis in Killzone didn't annoy me that much because it wasn't, like, that obtrusive. And I actually enjoy the 6-axis in Flower with what I've played so far. But when it's, like, what they did in Heavenly Sword, it's a little different. But I definitely think if you drop the price point on games about $30, $40, you're going to see a lot less used game sales.
Yeah, here you go.
Which actually helps brand new copies, which helps the developers.
Yeah, you just go into the main menu.
All right.
Or in-game, go to options and turn them off. What you do, having the motion sensor off, you turn camera off, aftertouch off, and combat off. Basically, that's how you turn it off, and you control it differently. I didn't mind the 6-axis once I got used to it, but that first arrow part was pissing me off.
Well, the arrow part I did all right. It was when you had to launch the stuff at the cannons.
Oh, see, I got into that, even though I lost a couple times. But
you want to...
So let me ask. Let me bring Church and Quig back into the conversation because they seem to be sitting in the background a little.
I got a cool little talking point, and I don't know if it's because of the fans of the game or if it's because of the economy, or maybe a little bit of both. But I went to several different EB games, and they were telling me that they could not sell their the collector's edition of RE5. Like they're like, it's not selling. Sold a few here, but they're like, we sold out of regular copies before we sold out of collector editions.
Interesting. But it's like $90 at the same time. That's a problem. So let's go back to Church and Quig and let's look at the future. What do you think the future holds for Nintendo with them staying on top, with them keeping the Wii and the DS as machines that just keep printing money for them?
Well, I think right off the bat, they're just going to stay the course. I don't think they're going to really change that much. I mean, maybe 3 years down the line, we'll see a Wii HD or something like that, and the people who are going to jump on that are going to be, your early adopters. Like the same thing they're doing with the DSi currently. They're trying to get the early adopters to move to DSi, and then what they can do is lower the price point of the Lite, even just a little bit, $10-$20, so they can get the people off the DS fat, and get them onto the DS Lite, and you're going to have a whole new stream of people purchasing, more DS Lites, and so you're not going to see a new.
But the DSi is $180.
Well, I'm not going to buy one, but you're still gonna see a lot of, like I said, early adopters who are going to jump all over that, just for and especially teenage girls who want to play with the camera and do all these other things. They're really going to market to those people. You're going to see a lot more Carrie Underwood commercials, and to market to them, but. For the Wii, they're just, like I said, they're just going to stay the course. They're going to continue putting out, like I said before, they're going to continue putting out their certain lineup of games. They're just going to keep doing it over and over again until, just to keep the core satisfied and continue on Wii Fit and more peripherals and whatever else they can sell us. Wii Motion Plus, they're finally going to get the Wii to act like it was supposed to act when they first put it out. So, I mean, basically what's going to come down to is I'm going to play Mario Galaxy 2 and then probably get Wii Motion Sports, and so I could play when the new Tiger Woods comes out, so I can play golf. That's about all I see myself getting.
Yeah. Church, what about you? What do you think of the future?
The future, what they should be doing. I mean, look, I agree with Quick. I mean, there's nothing that we can do. I mean, we can point out so many things. They can release a new console. They can release better for third parties and whatnot for them to do something. But I mean, the only thing I can think of is if they actually release more, actual Japanese titles, like for not people that don't want to buy the Japanese version or whatnot. If they release more Japanese title, I think a whole lot. You see a brand new fan base.
Well, you're going to see a lot of Japanese RPG style games coming out this year.
Oh, that's a start then.
Yeah, they've actually got 3 or 4 lined up just through the summer. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's going to help them a lot with bringing back some of those JRPG fans that kind of left the system, or left Nintendo after Super NES.
I mean, that's my thing. I mean, they need to do something to bring back some of the fan base that they lost so many years ago. I mean, they've gone to this route where it's like, oh, we're gonna, abandon, the people that made us and go with like the casual gamers and the kids and whatnot. And I don't know. They just really need to do something. I mean, I said it before. Sony needs to do something to step up at this E3. I think Nintendo needs to do the same thing. So.
What about you, Rich? Any final thoughts on the future for Nintendo?
Well, I think definitely for the handheld market, they're probably regardless, they're gonna stay number one because they've always been the number one. They own that market. They are the Microsoft of the handheld video game market. Though I do think they're gonna get a run for their money with the iPhone, the PSP. I know that they have coming out with new stuff, but I think the iPhone is where it's going to be for handheld gaming. I've seen some games on it, and there's more games coming out. I think you're going to see some good stuff there. As far as their Wii console, yeah, they're going to this generation. They're going to be on top for the majority of it, unless I just don't know what the point of saturation is, where they're not going to be selling any more consoles. If the point of saturation comes, yeah, maybe the Xbox, which is the next leader in line, will probably outsell it from month to month if they reach that point of saturation. But I don't think the Xbox is going to reach the numbers that the Wii did overall for total sales. But that being said, are they going to continue to be the leader in the console market? They are going to have a hard time taking these new consumers and bringing them over to a new console. They're going to have to once again do something as innovative to get the people to want and go and buy another console. And that's going to be a tough thing to do because your core audience will always go out and buy the new consoles because it's games. That's our thing. That's our hobby. We want to play games. If I told you tomorrow that when Xbox 720 was coming out in November, a good portion of that hardcore market is going to buy it. I mean, yeah, I'm not ready for a new console, but I go buy it because I want to continue playing games. I'm a sucker like that.
Yeah, I'll give my thoughts now. I basically see the DS Lite. I don't think it's going to change. I think with companies like Squaresoft and Atlas really pushing hard, and you get a lot of these point-and-click adventure games like a Phoenix Wright and all still taking off. The DS has found its market of its core game style. The stylus was a great addition, touchscreen and all that. I think the DSi is going to have a hard time taking off. I think it'll sell out initially. I think by the end of the year, a lot of stores are going to have plenty of stock, and they're going to have problems pushing it, especially at $180. I do see Nintendo forcing at least a price drop down to $100 for the DS Lite. For the Wii, Unless third parties really start stepping up, they're really gonna have a hard time keeping the core gamer interested. I do see with the upcoming JRPGs, I think companies like Atlas will help the Wii a lot as they've helped the DS. With the DS, they've pushed out so many niche style RPGs, and the RPG gamers lately have become a very core audience you want to bring to your console. It's been proven where Sony had them for the PS1 and PS2 and how well those consoles did, and the PS2 is still pushing out some very good Japanese RPG games. The 360's basically stolen that market for the next gen, and I think the Wii has a chance to grab that market as well, where Sony has kind of ignored it. If they don't, I think it's going to be tough. Like we said before, shovelware. I think the next console, like Rich said, they're going to have to think of something else. I think if they do anything else, they're going to have to take what 360 and PS3 have tried to do with the camera and integrate some type of gameplay with that, but they're really going to have to make it actually work.
No, I don't see Nintendo doing that because you got to protect the kiddies.
No, I'm not saying for online. I'm saying
Like
for
burn nice, like take a picture as you're playing a game and you
yeah.
crash.
Well, I'm talking more of like the games where I hate to bring up the game was horrible, but Totem Ball on the 360 where you're moving with the camera, they're gonna have to come up with something like that. They're gonna have to add another accessory that adds more interaction with the game. Wii Fit's great, but in your next console, that's not going to fly. I think you're going to have to add more interaction, like a camera, that works.
Sega will have to come out with the activator ring for the Wii.
Yeah. Oh God, I remember that. But they're definitely going to have to because you're not going to bring in that casual market. They're going to be like, I already have this Wii. I have fun playing it with parties. I really think within 2 years, Nintendo's going to see not sales fall off, but they're definitely going to hit a point where they just kind of hold. You're not going to see them continuously selling. Constantly selling what? How many do they sell a year?
Well, they're gonna
4 to 5 million.
They're gonna have realized soon that they're gonna need the core gamer to support them and continue on.
Yeah, like I said, Wii Sports great. I think the new Wii Sports summer games will sell a lot, but one title is not going to keep you in business. They're definitely going to need to bring in releasing remakes of your core titles is not what's going to happen. You're going to need to take those franchises and make actually full new games, new innovations in those games, kind of like Mario Galaxy. I'm not a big Mario fan, but Mario Galaxy added a new twist to the universe.
It was actually really good. I haven't finished playing it, but I have played.
And I hear Wario Shake It's a good game.
And it looks great too for the Wii.
Yeah.
It looks great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they're definitely going to need more innovation like that. You're not going to be able to keep putting out the same Mario Kart with new tracks. You're going to have to really change that. Same with Super Smash Brothers. It's one of the biggest hardcore games out there for the Nintendo fanboys and girls. But with the Wii, you're going to have to make some changes. You're not going to be able to put out that game again.
The online is terrible for that game.
That's another thing. If Nintendo continues down this friend code shit, they're going to fail.
It has nothing to do with the friend codes, man. I mean, it's just
friend
like
codes is awful. It was an awful design on the DS and the Wii.
I'm not arguing for the benefit of friend codes. I'm saying the friend codes had nothing to do with how bad the online was.
No, I'm just saying overall for the system.
It can't be any worse than PSN.
Oh no,
it is.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean it works really slick in Mario Kart. They have it where they actually got it really slick, but in Brawl, it's almost unplayable.
Well, you have to have a friend code for Brawl, right?
Yeah.
But you can still just say I want to play people. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Because they can do that because you can't do anything other than there's only 4 sayings you can press, and one's like hi. I mean, so it's not like you can have stalkers. So is what Nintendo cares about.
No, I know, but I think they're gonna have to have a better online network. They're gonna have to eventually create that.
No, I mean, not necessarily. If they're the young 10 to 12-year-old gamer, which tends to be a big market for the Wii, they don't care about that stuff that
Well,
much.
I think though you're gonna have people saying online gaming is where it's going. I
But
mean, it's the reason why Microsoft has outside of the Wii between Microsoft and Sony. This is the reason why Microsoft is winning is because of this online component. The Wii to keep their hardcore market is gonna have to find out some way to do it other than friend codes. They're gonna have to
but the thing
create
is,
that network.
the hardcore market for the Nintendo is no longer profitable. All right? Yeah,
I disagree. I just think they're ignoring it because the other one's making more of a profit. It's
you
not
got
that they're not profitable. They just want to make, they're looking at the wrong thing. You can release both games, both styles.
the thing is, you got to look at the consoles are somewhat different in how, and especially in the market. The 360 does not make Microsoft any money. They lose money off the sale of every console. That's how it always been.
No, they make money now. Ever since 2000, late 2006, they started making money.
Not off the sale of the console.
Yeah, off the sale of, I'm telling you, off the sale of the console.
In the division they do, not the sale of the console. Microsoft Game Studios division turns a profit, but not the actual sale of the console. They're still taking a hit. The amount of hardware it costs in there doesn't work. They're making the money off the games that they publish and sell. The first-party games, your Halo Wars, your Gears of War, which is published by them, and a lot of other titles that are published by Microsoft. That's where they're making the money. That they're making the money off of Xbox Live Arcade stuff and the sale of peripherals and all that, the live subscription, advertising on the website. That's where they're making the money. The console itself is not profitable. Where the Wii, the minute you buy the console, that's a profit for them because they're using a GameCube technology.
No, I'm
Yeah.
looking. As
also-
of 2006, Microsoft started making a small profit on hardware.
What hardware, though?
The 360 hardware.
Yeah, but is that the controllers, the headset?
No, the console.
What source is this?
I'm looking at TechSpot, but they probably don't make that. Let's see. Back then it had a $400 price tag, and it was netting Microsoft $75 a unit.
It doesn't seem right.
But yeah, the arcade SKU is now $200.
Which is being talked about going as low as 130. Which is another thing the Wii's gonna have to look out for. A $130 price tag may have some go, even at 150. Some may go, well, this one's a little cheaper. It doesn't have all this, but maybe there's some games on here. I'm not saying it's gonna take away all of the people, but it might grab the attention of some that would have bought a Wii instead. But for 130 to 150, I think Microsoft has a good chance of at least grabbing a few people that would normally go with the Wii.
No, I agree. But focusing back on Nintendo on this is that you guys keep saying like the hardcore market, like they care about that. They're by going after all these, these tweens, these 10 to 12-year-olds. They're creating their own market. Like they're like, okay, now these people when they grow up, they're going to. They've suckled on the nipple of Nintendo, and they're going to stay there. So they're designing their own future market right now.
I agree, and that's what Nintendo's always done. Nintendo fanboys are the most dedicated out there. Even worse than a 360 or a Sony fanboy. Nintendo, like my roommate is a huge Nintendo fanboy, and they can do no wrong. Lately, though, even he's been agreeing that the Wii needs to do something because he's starting to become a little disenfranchised with it. But I'll tell you, I would say even a year ago, Nintendo could do no wrong in his eyes.
Okay, so I'm looking at the Microsoft 10K. This is a breakdown, which is their financial report. Yeah. They lose $175 per console.
I wonder if that's because of the price drops they did then.
No, this is when it was at the $400 range with the 20 gig hard drive.
What year?
2006.
Fucking close the article.
Lose $126 per unit. It's citing a GameSpot article, but this is all related to the 10K. So they are making a profit off of accessories though, but not the actual console.
Because it says on this other one, as of November 20th, 2006, they make a $75 profit before the unit has been shipped.
No, it's not. Just the cost of what that hardware cost in there alone doesn't even make sense for that. I mean, they weren't even turning a profit at the $400 mark. Why would they now be turning a profit?
I'm not saying they're doing it now. At one point they were. I'm sure they can take that hit again. That's what they did with the Xbox the whole time it was out.
That's what they're doing the whole time here. They're taking a hit. They're making everything else up.
Yeah, but I think with them making a cheaper price point at this point, another drop, which will happen by the end of the year, the Wii is going to have to possibly make a price drop. But the problem is, in the UK, the pound's taking such a pounding, no pun intended, that the Wii is actually looking at a price increase in the UK.
I heard about that.
That's ridiculous.
Would not be a smart move on their part because they did it.
Well, it won't be up to them. They'll still be selling their console probably at the same price tag to the stores, but the stores might actually up the price point.
That's dumb.
So they're either going to have to lower the price to keep the stores at that price, or possibly take a hit because the pound is in such bad shape. So with the way things are going, I mean, in Japan, they don't have to worry. The yen is still staying strong. I just think that it's going to be an interesting next 2 years for Nintendo, especially on the console side, not the portable gaming side. I think they're fine there. Regardless of how DSi does, I don't think they're mass producing it like the DS Lites were. I don't think you're going to see it flooding the market. You might see an initial shortage, kind of like the Wii was. But I don't think that's out of strategy as much as it is they don't expect the demand to be there like the DS Lite. Not initially. So I think the handheld, they're fine. I think the next 2 years, though, for the Wii itself will be very interesting to see how everything plays out. I don't know how Nintendo's going to keep it going without making some type of change, even if it includes a price drop.
Well, if anyone's going to figure it out, it's going to be them.
Yeah, I personally think the Wii will hit $200 within 2 years. And I would say probably next year, early next year, it'll hit $200. I know it's not happening this year. They're just now getting to the point where you can easily find it in stores. So I say next year you will see the price drop. They'll wait another Christmas season.
Maybe.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe not this year, but next year's E3, they might announce a price drop and a new color.
Yeah, I definitely think they need to add some variants. The white's a little...
Well, the original model, when it was the Revolution, they had a black thing on it.
It's looked a lot better.
What happened to the black?
Well, they decided that they were going to call it a Wii and go white.
What are they, racist?
Well, no, I'm not going to go into stereotypes. I could easily be like, well, we could look at the Japanese in Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, I didn't agree with that editorial.
I don't agree with it either. I just think it's funny that people actually are seeing that. But
that would make all these other games racist against white people, but you don't hear
yeah, true. Well, I think we had a good discussion there. So I want to tell the listeners, if you have anything to say, I will be starting a forum thread as soon as this is up for this show, or you can leave a comment or send a message to us with your thoughts.
Episode.
Let's see. So it's basically the end of the show. Rich, we thank you for coming on. Do you want to tell them where they can find you?
Oh, yeah, well, we're up on Pwn under the Play section for Gametopia's podcast. You can find us there, but you can come to gametopias.com. We're pretty active on the site, forums, we got podcasts. Yeah, check me out there.
You got a Twitter?
Yeah, it's twitter.com/Gametopias.
Yeah, you can see him bashing me up for hentai and Asian women.
It's
in his replies.
It's just so much comedy gold right there. Hentai games. I mean, it'll be at least 5 years before I'm like, oh, you know what? I think I beat the dead horse.
All right. Church, how can people get a hold of you?
You can find me at pwn.com/church4252, and I'm on Twitter at church4252.
All right, and Quiglin?
Yep, you can catch me on pwn.com at pwn.com/Quiglin and at Twitter/Quiglin.
Yep, and everybody can find me at twitter.com/GNitro, pwn.com/GNitro, and you can also hear me arguing more with Rich over at Gametopia Podcast.
Just look for the cute Asian girl as his avatar on Pwned, and you'll know it's G Nitro.
Yeah. True. I'm also, you can find me as G Nitro on the Gametopia community.
Body is. That's what I'm gonna do.
Hey, Rich, you might want to change the Total Meltdown in the podcast spotlight in your page. Mo's not the co-host no more, unfortunately. So.
You know what? Because I did that when Mo. I haven't changed it. I haven't done that in a bit.
Yeah, we're actually we're gonna add that to the podcast section. Weren't you talking about that?
What? Huh?
Rich,
What?
weren't you
What?
gonna talking about adding that to your podcast section under the drop down?
Oh yeah, yeah. We got to
No.
No, we were talking about that the other night. It was a few weeks back.
do. We forgot because we started working on your RSS feed to try to get you back up on iTunes.
Yeah. Well, once we fix our RSS feed. But we're going to be switching. I think I got to talk to Andy about it some more. He's just been swamped. It's been tough. Other than that, I also want to say you can follow Total Meltdown on Twitter as well. Twitter.com/Total Meltdown, pwn.com/Total Meltdown. Hit us up, leave us comments, questions. Hope to have a voicemail system soon so people can actually call and we'll play your voicemail on air. Hopefully within the next couple months.
You
We
should
do
have
have to.
themes when people call in. Like this theme this month is you have to sound like a phone sex operator, but related to video games. I think that would be great. Be some comedy gold right there.
I don't know about that. Well, Quiglin, Church, myself have to decide the next podcast discussion. I can't find my other paperwork with some of the discussions.
So there was PS2 slowdowns,
Yes.
your memories and
Missteps.
where that's going. What is left for the next generation? Like with the 720, the PS4, what is left for them to do? Collector's editions, do U.S. companies do it correctly? And then adult-only games, will an AO game ever be published here in the United States?
For a console.
For a
Because we know
console,
we have them
sorry.
on PC.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, we do. Every week you tell us all about them.
And then discussion right now for the last one. Microsoft and Sony have both said they won't allow AO games,
Well, that's because the stores like Walmart.
and they get the
GameStop.
sale on their consoles.
But I think with digital distribution in the future, it could be a possibility.
Not for the consoles because it all has to go through Microsoft's approval process.
Disagree. I think eventually you're going to have it, even if it's not a sex title, but that's for the...
Until Microsoft changes their policy, it's not going to change.
Well, wasn't it Grand Theft Auto?
Hold on. We need to save this for another podcast, damn it. So which one do we want to do?
I think the AO one, since you already started.
Yeah, we started. We might as
I
well.
don't want to do the AO one yet. Me personally, I'd like to do the PS2 one considering the support is slowing down.
Yeah. I'm with that.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. Well, next week, leave us your comments of PlayStation 2. What were your fondest memories, your favorite games, and what do you wish they had done better with the PS2? And if you remember any missteps, like I can name a few from the launch. But we'll discuss that next episode. Want to thank Rich for coming on.
Thank you.
Look either next episode or the episode after. We should have the Average Joe Gamer guys on.
Nice.
If you guys don't like me on the podcast, send all your hate mail to Nitro because I don't want to read it.
I'm gonna trust me. I will any hate mail on Rich, I will read on air, and I will read it on Gametopia at random times.
I'll just hang up on you. I don't need you.
But thanks for coming on, Rich. It was a lot of fun. some heated arguments.
Hope your listeners don't hate me too much.
No. You made fun of Mike. That's enough to keep them
you do
going
what
for weeks.
Quig and Church are afraid to do.
Last show I went on, they're on my own network. I got banned because I pissed off one of the co-hosts.
You won't piss me off. I dish out the
It was
jokes
like,
and I take them right
it was
back.
like a joke. It was like a joking thing, and then he got like really mad, and I got a phone call, and he was like, he didn't really like how you were making fun of how he couldn't log into the forums. I was like, all right,
Wow.
not gonna be able to have you on the show again. I was like, yeah, all right. Well, it's not that good of a show, anyways. But yeah, I'm banned from my own podcast network.
Yeah, well, maybe we can get you back on here again, and we can bring in Adele and Rachel.
Oh yeah, and not this week, but check out March 23rd's episode that Nitro should be on. We got Kyle Jones of the Video Game Outsiders. Forgot about that.
Nice.
Coming up.
Yeah, and I almost forgot Alex. I don't want to leave her out, even though she's been MIA for a couple weeks.
Yeah, we maybe change the recording time because she's she's inking the new Witchblade comic book.
Oh, nice.
Mm.
All right, well, thank everybody for listening. I know it's about an hour longer than normal, but thanks for sticking around if you listen this far. No blooper this week.
They didn't.
If you didn't hear the blooper last time, it's after the song on last week's episode.
Because G Nitro didn't feel like circle jerking this week.
No, not at all.
No.
I'll say
But,
that for the next week. It was a busy weekend.
Yeah, make sure you listen to the blooper and make sure your player's on repeat so it goes right to where we begin. So.
Yeah, you'll actually hear it if the exact chronological order if you have it on repeat.
You should do a remix of you saying that in a song, and you should give them an award for that.
No, we're still waiting. Actually, Wes from Average Joe Gamer claimed he had an intro for us, and I haven't talked to him in a bit, so I got to see what's up with that.
I'm still waiting for people to Photoshop me into a
Nobody's
Survivor
done that.
horror game.
Nobody's even mentioned that. So, if it doesn't
Maybe we'll start a
happen,
forum
I'll keep the copy of Dead Space for myself. So.
I'm waiting to see whether I can get into Gametopia's podcast. No, I'm joking.
No, we'll get you on. I gotta log in and check your schedule because I know we've been booking people from other podcast guests to come on.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, but I think this Monday we're free.
Okay.
Should be tomorrow.
Yeah, but I'm not 100% on that, and I know might be changing the time and some other stuff.
All right. As long as it's not too late at night, we're good.
We're gonna do it around 1 a.m.
Yeah, this will be me. What are you doing, Nitro? I'm sleeping.
Sure you're sleeping?
Yeah.
So what's that I hear in the background?
Nothing. Well, at 1 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, it's usually my alarm going off to wake up to add new games on GooseX. Gotta get good. Dude, it's such a fight now to get so far up in line. You gotta be up at that time.
You're like one of those people that used to stay up late to get the first deal on Woot when it came out.
Nah, I don't do that. But I did stand in line for 5 hours for a PS2.
Good lord. Oh, yeah, you did tell me about that. Not mine.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Well, we'll discuss that next week on the PS2 memories and stuff.
There you go.
So thanks everybody for listening for real this time. We're out. Thanks, Rich, for coming by. Thank you, Quig. Thank you, Church. And we'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.
Later.
いるよな、自分の第一目標以外目に入らない白状くんって。まあな、私らさながらハイゲハイゲハイゲ、私らさながらハイゲ、おーってミスタオミスタオミスタオだ、坂でミスタオだ、イラギイラギマンマランチランチランチランランだ、5秒3秒ルルルルルル、だったコントライブだぞ、頑張れ頑張れ、それさ、少し休憩しようよ、ほら、ポキポキポコポコポキポンチキ、ポクンポクンポクンポクンポクンポクン、ほら3秒5秒で大本当にラウンド、甘いもんとかしようがね、何今のパンモード、恥ずかしがらずに、はい、これありえねえ。